Heyo, welcome. Oh,
You didn't say one.
I didn't have to. I said heyo.
What? Wow.
Mm-hmm. I said three, two, and then I clicked. They don't say one
Okay.
in the industry.
I know. I
I'm
know.
just doing the industry
It's
standard. I'm
okay. We'll
sorry.
just do
You were
good.
waiting for
Good.
it. Yeah, you
Good
were
job.
expecting to go
You know
three,
what?
two,
I
and then
was
wait a
just
while and go
I
one.
was I was
Ha.
waiting.
That's what you do to me,
Yep.
so I guess it would make sense that you'd
I
think
do.
would do
I
that to
do
you.
that. Yep. I would do
Fair
that
enough.
again too.
All right, one. Do you feel satisfied now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was a
Overly.
little bit late, but we're here.
Indubitably.
Hi. Hi, guys. Welcome.
How's it going?
It's great to see you all. We've
Mm-hmm.
got Twashu, and we've also got the White Rabbit and Rising Dawn Ellie, and Kendra. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Kendra. Hope you're doing awesome. And Katz, I don't know if she's still here or if she just went to work.
Work.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Get to work. What Joe told you.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to work.
Yeah, we're gonna work.
We're gonna work real hard today. Make sure that you guys
We're
aren't
gonna-
worrying.
We're gonna work your butt off.
Work your
Wait,
worry
that
right
doesn't-
off.
That doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe. Welcome. Oh my gosh.
What's up?
We have quite the honored guest today. We have a Joe Bohan, and that's what's the occasion? What allows you to be here? I mean, geez, you're such a busy man.
I don't know. I just talked to him a couple days ago because we were doing my taxes. It was fun.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Taxes are great.
Only with Joe Bohan.
Yeah.
Joe Bohan makes them good. Makes them fun. Oh, double chat. Chat double.
Double chat.
What's that mean? Is everything appearing in the chat
know.
twice? No, I think it's fine. Maybe
It
just
is
means...
showing. It's weird. Something's weird in there. I'm looking
Really?
at the YouTube. It's weird.
It looks...
I don't know what happened.
It looks normal.
That's funny.
It looks normal in the on the what do you call it? On my OBS.
Do you have YouTube? Do you have YouTube open though?
OBS looks normal though, so that's good. But
Yeah.
I don't have the YouTube open. Well, I could go like this. Take a look. Huh. Twice as much not worrying. That's right. Oh, it doesn't appear to be on mine either, on my YouTube. So who knows?
Not on the screen?
No, not on the screen either.
That's weird.
But
Must
I'm
be
not on the
United
channel.
States.
I'm on the I'm not on the channel. I'm on the what do you call that? On the behind the scenes page that sees the that can start and
that
stop.
one.
So
Okay.
yeah. Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm all right, Kendra. I'm sorry to hear that. My grandpa passed away on Monday. His funeral's next Monday. If you could keep my grandma, and my family in your prayers, I would appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and your grandpa, I think that'd be a good one to pray for as well. So, okay, we will do that, Ken. Thank you for giving us the chance to pray for them, and we hope that that everyone will heal quickly. I know that it can be troubling, especially for your grandma. You know, obviously they've lived a life together, so that makes it quite difficult for them, especially. So, it can be a hard time. Yeah. So we are here at Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about problems, the worries, the situations, the things you don't like, whatever is on your mind. And our plan is to walk beside you as friends to help you, and not necessarily to guide you, but maybe to guide you, mostly to just impart wisdom that we've lived and experienced in our own lives onto you. And that's the best we can do, because we are not professional psychologists or therapists or anything along those lines. So we can give you what we can give you. We are not a substitute for legal help. All we can do is give you our best, and our best is our own experiences. We recognize that, you know, everyone is going through different things, and the same solution doesn't work for everybody, because everybody's problems are probably slightly different, and what's going on in their brain is slightly different. But it doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. In fact, talking about it can really help stimulate your own mind to figuring out your answers, even if we're giving different answers than you might come to find help. Just because talking about things really does help a lot. It's that brain moving forward, and also it's nice that we have this here because it allows you to share your experiences as well. So please always feel free and welcome to share in the chat whatever is on your mind. If you have something that you want to say about someone else's topic, please feel free to do so. This is an open place, and everyone here is loving and welcoming of every kind of walk of life, every kind of experience. And so we're just really, really happy to see whatever you have to say because it's helpful. So yeah. Big news. Okay, big new. Oh, big new, not big news. Big new firmware update for one of my consoles. Gonna have this playing while learning new features. Oh, can you? That's amazing, man. That's a mind
features, man.
You can. That's like studying two things at once. Jeez.
And Zay, I would never ever.
Oh. I think I lost you. He would never ever, but now he's gone. he's gone and never evered. Am I still online? Are we still live? Or
yeah.
Okay. Hey, great. Welcome back. Well, you would never ever.
But I'm making a really good face though.
Yeah,
it is great.
Okay, was that you or me?
I don't know. I could still hear you. It was just like normal for me.
Okay.
So. Everything was fine, except I looked over and I saw my face on the screen, and I'm like, interesting. Look at that.
That's weird. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what caused that, but you would never ever what?
I would never ever control the weather illegally.
Oh. Yes, I think I saw something so silly on Twitter or something, and with Trump basically just saying something along the lines of, "Man, did this weather happen by, is this?" I don't remember what he said, but it was like he was trying to start a conspiracy about how who actually made the weather go boom.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what are you even doing, man?
Was he blaming the Democrats?
I don't think he was. He wasn't blaming anybody.
Oh, he wasn't.
He was just like, is it really nature though? Is it? You tell me. I was like, buddy, you're hilarious. I hope everybody knows that you're joking and not insane. Oh.
It is funny because like it's weird. I look on the screen on the chat and
yeah.
And like so once it gets about 2/3 up the chat box, then it's like 1, but then anything below that it's double. It's the weirdest thing. At least that's the way it is for me.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the same for everybody else. But
YouTube's
all that means is like in order for yours to go from 2 entries to 1, everybody's got to chat more. So just keep going.
Yeah. Well, at least everybody has their chance to be double and single. As long as there's more messages. So.
Yes, preferably you would be single.
Well, it's okay either way for me. I don't mind if you're double. If you want to be single,
everybody should be single, man.
If you want to be single, just find more people to post in chat, which doesn't make sense with Joe's knowledge. Whatever is going on here.
Yeah.
Hey, Akil.
Hey. What's up, Akil?
Yeah, we have so many twins.
Man, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. Hope you're doing awesome, man. Welcome.
Wait, Ellie, are you saying I am already? Does that mean you're already single?
Or double. Maybe they're already double.
Or maybe already double.
Yeah. On the double. Maybe they're on the double.
Double is trouble.
Double trouble. Yeah. Yeah, but single is dingle.
Which is way better.
Yeah? Okay. I wouldn't know. And it's okay. Fair enough. I couldn't find any rhyme that started with the D with single. Because you said double trouble, so I dingle single, I guess. I don't know what dingle
Single
means.
dingle.
I don't know what a dingle is, but
Well,
I think it's anything that dangles, right? So like you just have
dingle
like
dingle
like
dangle.
you know
And the
those
dingle
dice,
dangle.
you know those dice that hang from like car things and then they just dangle there, and
Yeah.
then are they like individual dingles
Oh.
because each one
'Cause
is
they dangle?
dangling? Dingle dangle, yeah.
The dingles dangle.
A nickel to single. I mean, it's pretty close rhyme.
A
Yeah.
nickel to the single.
Uh-huh.
Just a nickel? Tell you what, man.
Single.
Never mind.
Nickel single. Yeah, it's a close rhyme. It's a close
I'm gonna
rhyme.
get myself in trouble. I'm gonna start getting myself in trouble.
Okay. Let's move on.
Like I've found when you're single, you save a lot more than a nickel.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 is more than twice as much as 1.
2 is more than twice as much as 1.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Oh, apparently, a deep wooded valley or dell is what a dingle is.
Oh.
So a single dingle makes sense.
There you go. A deep wooded
It's
valley.
one deep wooded valley.
Or dell.
Or dell.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know. We win.
My gosh. Learning so much. We just started here and we're already learning nouns. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do a good job here on this stream.
Yeah. It's
so
amazing.
we should jump into a topic. We've got we've got a couple here. Any of them, none of them are from, wait, let me refresh real quick, just in case. All right, Ellie has posted one yesterday, and Ellie is with us right now. Other than that, we've got several anonymous, and then 2 people who are not here at the moment. Unless Darkwing or Meonglios, you are here. If you are, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, why don't we just do Ellie's? It's a good place to start.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Ellie, all right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna like this topic.
Oh, you're gonna do what?
I'm gonna like this topic.
Oh, you're gonna like it. You better.
I enjoyed processing it a little bit ago. I was very excited. I'm excited for this topic.
That's good.
It has to do with one of my favorite subjects.
Ever? One of your favorite subjects ever?
One of my favorite types of topics. Are these.
I'm excited then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly
be excited.
Fix this one little issue here we got. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm going to put this on the screen for you guys. It is from Ellie. It is titled Dealing with Anger. I can see why this is one of your favorites. This is Dealing with Anger. And this is from Ellie. As I said, you can feel free to read along. It is on the screen for you now if you so desire. If you do not desire such, then shield your eyes and your ears from the things about to be spoken, because we're dealing with anger tonight. It reads as follows. I'm blamed for many things. I don't care. I'm blamed for things I didn't do, and I end up eating the way I'm being treated, and it makes me angry. I'm angry at myself and angry at the situations I'm put in, where I end up being life's punching bag. When someone is angry at a happenstance, it feels like I'm always in the crossfire or the target. I've had to fight things my entire life. I had to fight for things my entire life, and so it's become a habit, a lifestyle of being. So when I'm faced with the issues of being yelled at because of a mistake, or even if it wasn't my fault, I have to take the yelling and pretend like I was wrong. even if I'm not. And it's leaving me drained at the end of the day and exhausted just knowing that that the next time I go into work, I'm going to have to take the same treatment and enter the same cycle again and again, which leads to my restless anger. How do I deal with the anger at myself and keep my anger from affecting others in a negative way? From Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, I hope I read that correctly. Pretty sure I did. I took it slow. Do have a minor.
Hey, you did good.
Minor dyslexia that pops up. But anyways, I understand. I think you're not in the wrong for being angry, right? Absolutely not. If people are yelling at you and accusing you of things that you're not doing, whatever, or even if you witness that happening to somebody else, etc., it's not wrong to be angry. And so it's important not to shove that anger down, but it is important to not allow it to affect others negatively, at least negatively in terms of, let's say, the overarching grand scheme of things. Negative could be a good thing in someone's life. For example, if that negativity ceased, a negative feedback can cause someone to stop treating others badly. Let's say there's a chance for that. We become angry because we feel like, a lot of times the reason we become angry is because we don't like the way things are. We know that things are not right. At least we believe things are not right. And we want to fix them. We want them to be different. We don't necessarily want to fix them, but we want them to be different, for us at least, usually. Now, we can get angry for other people and we'd be like, I wish that was different. And that's okay. And I think it's important to take that feeling and use it while you can, or when you can, to fix things, to try to make things better. But that's not easy. But it does give you that energy boost. So there's good in that. That's all to say, basically, you're not wrong for being angry, and it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry with these things. I think the number one thing I'd like to say before I give it over to Joe is, you've got time. I think it's an important thing to remind yourself of. No matter where you are in life, whenever it's heated, whenever you start to feel like, oh, there's this conflict or whatever, if you can remind yourself, we're not in a rush here. We've got time. It really calms yourself down. It calms the entire situation down, because then you're like, I don't have to rush through this or charge through this like a bull. I can in a calm manner talk about this and figure things out. But anyways, acknowledging that you have time is huge. And I understand that at work they you're always rushing, you're always stressed because you're not delivering on time, et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is, if the workplace is worth its weight in salt, then you should have time. You should have the ability to talk things out, to get things on the right path so that everybody is winning rather than everybody losing. Because obviously that's more important for the company, that the company is winning than the company losing, because everyone's rushing through stuff with intense emotions and sort of violent actions, whether it be towards objects or customers. So anyways, all that said, just a little helpful reminder, whenever you're up in it, it's okay to remind yourself that you've got time. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it because they're yelling at you, but yeah. So you're not in the wrong, and you've got time. Those things are important. So anyways, with that said, I'm going to move out of the way and give it over to Joe, who has spent a great deal of time in this area and probably has a lot of really good things to say. Well, I know he has a lot of good things to say. So yeah. Take it away, Joe.
I've spent a lot of time in this area, meaning I've spent a lot of time angry.
Well, you spent a lot of time dissecting the area.
Oh yeah, that too. I had to, actually, because okay. So Ellie, thank you so much for the topic. Thank you for thank you for posting this. It's not an easy situation. And I'll tell you, Ryan's right that there is energy involved with anger, and it is usable energy, right? It's okay to be angry. It's a fully normal emotion. It's okay. Even when we feel like, oh, I shouldn't be angry right now. Why am I so angry at this? Most of the time, that is other people talking in your head that maybe they've said over the years or whatever, like, or made you feel like a fool for being angry or whatever, when it's totally legitimate. It doesn't matter what sets you off. Now, what matters is how you respond, right? Because the anger itself is just a feeling. Okay? What a lot of people do with anger is they use it to then be aggressive. So it transfers into aggression, where they do something, where they yell or they get physically violent or whatever, so they argue or whatever. That can be aggressive. And then there's also passive aggressive, which is like aggression's little brother. Passive aggressive, which is almost more insidious. You ever experienced passive aggression?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's just you feel this churning inside because you know what they're doing, and you're just like, what the? Yeah, and it's super frustrating. But it's okay to be angry, and it doesn't matter what it is that sets you off, because it can be anything. Sometimes it's a culmination of things that actually makes us angry. And the anger, here's what anger is. It's our biological response that sets us up to take action. Okay? Because usually when something makes us angry, it's setting us up to fight or flight, generally, right? To do something. And so we can harness that energy and use it productively. Here was my issue. Because I spent a lot of time getting angry. Like, I'd be angry about stuff, and I'd be angry about legitimate stuff. I didn't necessarily know how to explain it all the time, but I was angry at things that, my wife at the time did, or that, like my parents had done, or teachers or bosses, or, people who I was in business with, or whatever, right? Like, all kinds of people would do things, and all kinds of things would happen, and it would make me angry. And I would always kind of like, there were a lot of people around me that made me feel like an idiot for being angry. They're like, well, you don't have any reason to be angry. Or why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything wrong, or whatever. And what I found was, why is it okay for all of these people to be angry and yell at me and be mean and do all this kind of, why is it okay for all of them to be angry? But when it comes to me having some kind of anger response, why is that not okay? This is like not fair, and it's like an injustice. And I'm seeing this in your topic, Ellie, exactly, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
saw that too.
why is it okay for them to yell and moan and be all mad and be angry and get you in the middle of it, but then it's not okay for you to be angry? How is that fair? It's not. Okay? It's not fair. And it's okay to point out the injustice. Now, however, you don't necessarily have to get all up in people's face. I mean, you can. I would recommend not using aggressive words if you're going to point something out. There will come a point, and I'll show you. I'll walk through some steps on how to get to this point, but there will come a point when people get all like angry or whatever, and you'll just like look at them and you'll be like, why are you telling this to me? How does this involve me? Or how is this my fault? Or look, I think this is very inappropriate. You shouldn't be talking to me like this. This is like, I didn't do anything wrong here, and I'm not the person you should be angry at. Right? And so like, these are things. And so now here's the thing. It could be that they're just venting. And sometimes what we do is I don't know, there are some personalities, and I'm one of these sometimes, where we'll kind of take the weight of the world onto ourselves. And if somebody around us is upset, we take responsibility for it. Right? And so we'll kind of shoulder this burden because we're around, so we must be involved, and so it must be kind of our fault or whatever, right? That's also a way of thinking that you can work through. Here, I'm going to put a link in the chat here. 16personalities.com. I don't know if you've ever done this before, Ellie, if you've taken this personality test. But it's basically the Myers-Briggs. Oh, you're an ENFP. Okay, I don't remember. So extroverted, intuitive, what's F? Feeling, prospecting. Okay. I'm an INFJ. Okay, so you know your personality. So you know kind of how things might affect you. You can dig into how your personality responds to these things, and that can be a real help. I can't now I'm curious. What's the ENFP what's their name? Their like thing. I'm the advocate. The INFJ is the advocate. Let's see. ENFP
Campaigner.
The campaigner. All right. So of the diplomats, you are the lightest hearted. Well, maybe you were like the most outgoing, like party time person of the campaigners, right? So I think Ryan, you're an INFP. Last time I checked, you're a mediator.
No.
Oh, you're not. You're different.
No. Well, the problem is when I take the test, it comes up INTP or INFP or ENFP. So I'm also a campaigner, but like, here's the problem. Like when I take the test, every time I take it, I get a different result. And it's not like I'm changing. It's just that I'm on the fence. And when I look at logician and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's like 20% of that is true, 80% of that is wrong. And then I look at mediator, INFP, and I'm like, 20% of that is true, and then 80% of that is wrong. And I look at the campaigner, I was like, oh, there you go. There's my other remaining percent. I was like, okay, that's the 60% that I was missing earlier, you know. And then 40% of it is absolutely wrong. So it's just that's just how it is for me, and that doesn't disqualify anything. I just my experience.
Okay. Cool. Well, anyway, so it sounds to me like Ellie, you've done a little bit of homework in this area, so you know at least what personality you are. So you can kind of dig into some of their resources, and like the 16 personalities is great because like they have stuff, and a lot of it's free, that you can read about your personality, how you operate, all that kind of stuff, and it can tell you a lot about yourself and how you act in these situations. Now, different things that we experience in our lives, whether it be traumatic or different, or maybe just ways we were raised, or maybe some kind of experience we had as a child, can affect how we, deal with a tense situation like this. So when you feel yourself getting angry, I'll tell you, well, let me tell you what I did. For the longest time, I just decided to do what it sounds like you're doing and just shoving it down, eating it, as you said. You eat it and it makes you angry. Or are you taking your anger and just like burying it? Because that's what I did for years and years and years. Like, and I was deceiving myself because I thought, all right, so I'm feeling this anger, and then I thought I was letting it go. I was just like, I'm letting it go. But what I was doing was I was just burying it. I was stuffing it down and not reacting. And it got to the point where it was such a habit that something would make me angry, and then I would just shove it down and not deal with it. That what ended up happening was I thought I was pretty doggone awesome. I thought I was so self-controlled. I had such good control of my anger, man, because something would happen, I would feel the anger, and then it would just be gone because I would bury it. Now, the problem is you can't do that forever because it still affects you. And all of that anger that you bury, it builds and it builds and it builds. And then eventually it freezes, is what psychologists and therapists and stuff will talk about. That frozen anger then it becomes depression. And a lot of times it becomes deep depression. So as we're feeling angry, we have to somehow express it and get it out or use that energy. If we just bury the energy, it ends up just collecting and then freezing into a big pile of depression. And then, then we need to get out of that. And I remember when it started to affect my life. I started to get massively depressed and it started to affect my day-to-day life. And that was the time I knew it was time to get a therapist because I had stuff that I didn't understand that was going on that was affecting my day-to-day living. So I talked to this therapist and we did the whole test and, oh, yep, you're severely depressed and highly anxious and, whatever. Right. So, and then she ended up talking through some of the things, about what led me to this point, like kind of the background and everything. And she's like, man, it sounds like you have a lot of anger that is frozen. And I'm like, no, I don't have an anger issue at all. I just, when something happens that makes me upset, I just let it go. And she's like, I don't think you're letting it go because what are you doing? And I'm just like, nothing. I just feel it for a minute and then it's gone. And she's like, no, you're not expressing, you're not using that energy. You're just stuffing it down inside you. And so now it's to the point where, you don't feel like it's okay to be angry. And so one of the first exercises she gave me was she was like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make yourself angry. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, listen to songs that make you angry. Think of injustices that make you feel angry. Think of things that people have done to you or are doing to you that make you angry and let yourself be angry. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, then take that anger and beat the snot out of your drums. Or, go do some kind of exercises. Do you, like, can you do push-ups? Can you go run? Can you do something physical? And I was like, okay. And drumming was a big one. Like I would drum until I would inevitably like whack my hand on one of the rims and my hands would bleed and I'd get blood all over my drums or like 3 sticks would break, because I was just like, it was like a therapeutic tool for me to get my anger out on my drums. And you can do that. Like, but one of the key things that my therapist told me was she was like, okay, it has to be physical. You do physical activity, whether it's some kind of exercise, drumming, you can do music, but make sure that you're moving. Like, make sure you're expressive with it, right? Like you're moving. So it's a physical thing. You can do like angry dancing, which would be like dance fighting probably, or whatever. You can spar with the air, whatever. Okay. Ellie says, so eating is when a situation happens and I basically have to tuck tail and agree with things even in the midst of abuse. I hear you. Okay. So just so you know, you don't have to tuck tail. Now, in the situation, because of who you're dealing with, it might feel like it's the most appropriate thing for you to tuck tail, whether it's like a boss or, or maybe you don't want any kind of a conflict, which kind of makes sense with your personality. You might avoid conflict a little bit. And so instead of standing up for yourself or in standing up for what's right, you allow it to happen. And now hey, we all go through that. Well, maybe not all of us. There are very select few people that probably don't deal with that. They're like your niece, Ryan.
Yeah. Let's say that one. Yeah.
There are people that almost crave conflict. And so like they'll be in your face, right? and then anytime something happens that's injustice, they'll be like all about it, right? Now, those people, a lot of times they need to figure out how to control the aggression, to dial back the aggression long enough to get out of the situation so then they can express their anger in a healthy way. You, on the other hand, it sounds like you're letting people kind of, you're allowing yourself to be abused. And what can you give me your therapist's number? You need therapy. Wait, what? Actually, I can't because you're not in the state of Michigan.
We are residents of Michigan. That's our mailing address.
Ooh, well, that's interesting. And honestly, she's not my therapist anymore, but I don't think she's taking any new patients right now. But I do know the organization. Like, I could give you the organization that she was a part of. But anyway, these are things that she taught me. And so here's the trick. Here's what I finally had to learn. And I kind of learned it by accident. Is that this anger feeling that you get when these things come up and when these things happen, you can kind of save it. You can get yourself out of the situation. So what you're doing is, you just don't necessarily say anything. You don't have to agree. You don't have to take the abuse. And eventually over time, as you get stronger by doing some of these things and allowing yourself to be angry, working through it, doing something physical, even if it's like punching a pillow for a while, but do something physical that's not aggressive toward another human being. Then you'll gain strength and you'll gain confidence because you're allowing these feelings to flow. You're giving them, you're allowing them to be legitimate, which they are. It's okay. It's perfectly normal. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you're wrong for being angry. You may be wrong for being aggressive, right? You may be wrong for spouting off at somebody in an angry fashion, but your anger isn't the issue. It's the aggression that's the issue. The anger is the feeling. It's the readiness to take action. And so then you use that energy to take action. And I learned this by accident where I had a whole bunch of paperwork. I think I've told this story before, so some of you guys probably have heard this. But I had a whole bunch of legal stuff to file. I had to get to a notary public so I could get stuff notarized. I had to sign all these forms and I had to get it back to my attorney's office, and I had like an hour and a half to do it all. And I live in this small town where there's only like one notary, and they work at the public library, and the public library is hardly ever open, right? And so it's like I had to coordinate all this stuff. I had 90 minutes to do it in, and I had to get it taken care of. And at like not long before that, somebody was kind of blowing me off, and it made me really upset. And them blowing me off made me mad, and I was mad at them for a second, and then all of a sudden I had this whole list of stuff to do for my lawyer that I then had to accomplish, and I used the energy from being mad at the person who was blowing me off to fuel me through the accomplishing of the tasks I needed to do for my lawyer. So that was a productive use of that anger energy. But the trick was I had to separate the thing that made me angry from the feeling of anger. I had to recognize that they are two different things. So there's the thing that I'm angry at, that's one thing, and then there's my feeling of anger, that's another thing. When I can detach the feeling from the event, recognize that they're two different things, and then I can let go of the thing that made me angry, all I'm left with is this feeling, this energy, this extra boost of energy that I can use in a productive fashion. And I can use it to get work done, to write music, to play my drums, to go work out, to do martial arts, to do what I have all this energy that I can do, that I can use. I can clean my house. You wouldn't think I'd ever do that because I don't usually clean my house. I'm sorry.
Good on you. Kidding.
I got a beard and a better mic. Well, yeah. Yep. Oh, Akil, you're right. Anger stems from caring about things. It's the poor water of handling it that made it infamous. You're absolutely right. Anger is a totally legitimate feeling. And it's okay for you to be angry. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not okay for you to be angry. But once you can, so first it takes recognition. Recognize that the thing that made you angry, you don't like, you can detach that from the feeling of anger. You can let that part go. They made me angry. Okay, now I feel angry. And then, okay, now I focus on, I feel angry. I'm just here with this feeling and not focusing on the thing that made me angry. And then I take the energy and I use it productively. And as you do that more and more, you'll get better and better at it. It's like strengthening a muscle. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not an immediate switch. This is something that takes practice. And so the more you practice it, though, the more you will have self-confidence, the more you'll have self-control, the more when something makes you angry, you won't just let people walk all over you. You won't just take the abuse. You'll be able to stand there calmly, look at them, and say assertively, listen, I don't see how this has anything to do with me. Or if it does have something to do with you, you can say, look, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that I did that. You can apologize. If it legitimately, if they're angry at something you did, you can apologize. But then you can also say, listen, yes, I'm sorry for doing that, but that's still not a reason for you to treat me this way. That's still not a reason for you to act like this. And it's okay. It's okay to do that because here's the thing, Ellie, and a lot of times, and here's one of the things that I struggled with too, and that is it becomes a self-image issue. Like our self-image is a little bit out of whack, where we start to put other people's responses, feelings, their agendas, all that stuff. We put all of their stuff above our own. And in some ways we think that's holy. And sometimes to put another's needs over your own is a very holy thing. But these aren't people's needs we're talking about. These are people's emotional responses and people's whims and people's, how they're going to treat me and all that kind of stuff. And what it does is it lowers our own value in our eyes. Like our own value is lowered in our own eyes. And so that's a disservice that you've been caught up into. Now, in some ways we do that to ourselves. In other ways, we allow others to do it to us. But both ways, it's a disservice, and it kind of forces you to believe a lie. And the lie is that for somehow you are not as valuable as the other person there. But that's an absolute lie. You are just as valuable as the other person there. Your feelings are just as valuable. Your dignity is just as much. And the way that when we allow people to just walk all over us like that, it creates a habit for us to devalue ourselves. And let me tell you, Ellie, you are infinitely valuable, infinitely unique, and of infinite dignity. There's never been another person like you before. There will never be another person like you ever again. And that is one thing that makes you infinitely valuable. So, I don't know. I've talked a lot. I'm sorry. There's a lot I have to say about this because I've had a lot of experience in this area, and I had to work through a lot of stuff. And I did this was years. I had this happen for years and years and years. Abused, and just treated with contempt and anger and hatred and all this kind of stuff, and it just made me so upset, and I was devalued over and over and over and over and over again for years. Until I finally was able to find my way out of it. And it took, realizing this anger chunk was the piece that started it all. The piece that started my recovery to get back to who I am. This anger component, figuring this out, was the piece that started it all. And the more I practiced it, the more I worked at it, the better I got. And the more I was like, wait a second. Now it's just like, wait. You're going to treat me like that? What makes you think that's appropriate? No, that's not appropriate. You're going to talk to me like that? What makes you think that's appropriate? And I don't even have to say that all the time. Sometimes you can just walk away. Sometimes if someone's treating you like garbage, you can just kind of nod, smile, walk away, and then go punch a punching bag for a while, or go play a musical instrument, or whatever, and use that anger productively. But you start to realize, okay, I'm in control. I'm in control of my response, but that doesn't mean that I bury my anger. That just means that I take that anger, I let go of the thing that made me angry, and I take the feeling and I use it productively. It takes practice, but you can do it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. I want to hear what Ryan's got to say. Because Ryan is look at him. He's the most angry person you've ever met.
That's anger. That's real anger. You don't know real anger until you see that. No.
I know, man. Look at that. You're right, Super Neon Blue. Ryan is so beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are so good.
Man. He'd be even more beautiful if he was brownies with whipped cream on it, but actually, no, that's not
pretty true. That's pretty true. I'm gonna agree with it. I need a hat that's made out of brownies with whipped cream on it. I mean, that would make me even more beautiful. Yeah. Anyways, Joe, honestly, obviously I have a lot of respect for you and going through a lot of that, and I have nothing but to agree with everything that you were saying and pointing out. I would say something along these lines to you, Ellie. Start looking for a new job.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you that. Here's why. If you are in the position where you don't feel like you have to be there, it gives you the edge to be able to respond appropriately to people who are yelling at you inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's a really good point. Very good point.
Start looking for a new job because you don't need to be subject to that. You are way more important than that. You are way more valuable than that, right? Even if you do something wrong, to be treated inappropriate, if you do something wrong, you can still be treated inappropriately, even though you've done something wrong. Okay, so even if you do something wrong, if someone treats you inappropriately, especially at a workplace, they're letting their anger out, that is not a place to let your anger out. Your workplace is not meant for that, right? And so, you can let your anger out, but I mean, to be aggressive and yelling and violent and so on and so forth, belittling others, etc. You don't have to take any of that. And so, I would say, start looking for a new job, because a lot of times people can't just get themselves into a position where it's like, people can't just immediately experience what Joe's talking about, where they feel like, you shouldn't be talking to me like that, to someone who they consider their boss or their other employees or whatever, someone above them, their parents, for example, possibly as well, right, etc. Right? We look at people and a lot of times we can't just assume the position Joe's talking about. So my suggestion to you is start looking for a new job. Because one, I would recommend you get away from toxicity like that. That's not good for you. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for you, right? The only time it's good for you, any of those things, is when you're already spiritually, mentally, physically prepared to enter into those places. And you are in a position of taking it so as to grow. There's a difference between allowing someone to allowing the situation to blow over and just take whatever beating someone has to throw at you, and there's a difference between that and how should I say this? There's a difference between that and invalidating yourself. Okay. What Joe's talking about is he was invalidating himself. He was saying your anger is not right. You're basically, to himself, he was saying that his anger is not valid, that he needs to just shove it away. He's not allowed to be angry. He has, blah, blah, blah. Everything is about invalidating self, and that's really a bad place to be. Of course it is. That's how you end up talking bad to yourself and ending up in depression. Like, that's of course, right? So, and it's not just depression. I mean, even any bit that you do that is bad for you. You don't have to invalidate yourself. There's a difference between invalidating yourself and letting someone be pathetic and just let it blow over and continue with your day, right? Because what they're doing is being pathetic, right? And you can have apatheticism for them. You can be apathetic, right? You can be apathetic and understand that right now what they're doing is being a bit of a baby, and go, okay, I'll let them blow their steam, not because I can take it or that I've done anything wrong, but because I recognize right now it's not going to earn anybody anything if I take any other action. But that's subjecting yourself through a concept of having empathy or compassion for them. That's you looking at them and going, they're kind of being pathetic right now. I just won't say anything. I'll let it blow over, and I'm going to get on with my day. That's very different than like you said, eating it, right? And so if we can get you from the point where you're eating it right now to the point where you can look at them and go, what they're doing is inappropriate. It's kind of pathetic display of like childishness. Like they don't have control over themselves. They're freaking out for no reason. This is not even a big deal. Like it's your response can get there where you look at them and you go, this is not appropriate. This is like, who do you think you are? Like a 2-year-old? It's like, you don't have to be mean to them, right? But the point is, if you have that attitude about you, and it's not like an attitude that you're looking down on others like, I'm better than them. And that's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, it's more important that you look at people and you try to pull them up to a level where they're being dignified, right? Not necessarily pull them up to your own level because you aren't necessarily any better than them. But the truth is, to act with dignity and to treat each other with dignity. We were talking about this a little bit on our stream the other day, Jan and I. But if you have dignity, to recognize the dignity of others, but even almost more importantly, recognize the dignity of yourself. Because if you don't recognize your own dignity, you'll let other people walk out all over you, and you'll get yourself in a position where you are now, which is really unfortunate. You have to recognize that you have dignity. There is a part of you that is to be respected. Chairs have chair dignity. They ought to be treated like chairs. They aren't meant to be just treated as objects for destruction or, pleasure when it just destroys the chair's nature, right? There are things you can do to damage chairs that are very disrespectful to the chairs and to the people who own those chairs, right? And that's indignified actions, right? And that's just chairs. Everything has a sense of purpose, right? It's in this world for a purpose. And when you or anybody tramples over that purpose or denies the purpose of that object by tearing it apart, right? Those are indignified actions, right? So I'm just trying to help you get a mind frame around what is dignity here. It's a form of respect.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, here's a quick tip: don't treat people like chairs, because then you'd be going around putting your butt on people.
There's nothing wrong with your butt. It's just that they aren't chairs.
Right.
Yeah. So that's great. And you don't treat people like chairs. You don't treat chairs like people, right? If you treat a chair like a person, there's discontinuity, and that's what feels off. And so Joe was talking about this earlier, that discontinuity, that you let other people be angry and yell at you, but at the same time, you don't give yourself that same sort of, what do you call that? Well, the same allowance, if you will. Your brain notices those incongruencies, and it doesn't like it. And so when your brain notices incongruencies like that, like conflicts that are not resolved, and you're not being fair, you're not treating things as they ought to be treated, especially yourself, you end up in a place that you don't want to be. And it's a really hard place to be in. Very, very hard. So my point is, you have to recognize they're not any better than you are. They aren't deserving. They don't get a higher allowance of being angry than you do. Right? Also, you're not any better than they are. You might be better at certain things, but you don't deserve more dignity. Right? And they might be better at certain things, but they don't deserve, there's no amount of dignity that they have over you. Right? My point is, the humble approach to this is to stand up for yourself. That's the humble approach. Because if you allow them to keep walking over you, what does it do to them? It damages them more and more and more. I know you have no intention of hurting them, but the reality is, the more you let people walk over you and treat you indignantly, that's the word. The more you do that, the more you allow people to do that, the more you reward people. Like, you're actually, in a way, rewarding them for their bad behavior by letting them treat you that way. And what that does is it creates in them a habit to yell more and more and more. Question, Ellie. Do they yell at you more and accuse you of more now than when you first took up that job? I already know the answer. I mean, it's just the way things go. And I'm not saying this is your fault, but what I am telling you is that it's not that you're necessarily responsible for them, but you do them a great favor when you choose for them that they're not allowed to treat you that way. Right? You do them a great favor by stopping them from that action and, in a way, putting them in their place. Now, I know you're like, how am I supposed to put my boss in his place or her place or whatever, right? It's like, that's not something that, it's like, oh, trust me, you can, even as an employee, and they might fire you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
That's definitely possible.
That's totally possible. I've seen it. And that's why I said, start looking for a new job, because the best way out of this is not to be continued to be yelled at. The best way out of this is not figuring out how to deal with the anger necessarily. Like, dealing with the anger is important for you, but that doesn't get you out of the position you're in, because you're just going to be in a self-replicating situation where you're allowing them to beat you up and you're continuing to eat it, and then you take that anger and you utilize it for some kind of good, and then you go back there and then there's more of the bad, right? You're not solving the core of the problem by figuring out how to deal with your anger, though dealing with your anger is super important, and you can use your anger to deal with the core problem. You can, but that's why you have anger in the first place, is because there is a core problem that you want to deal with. But you're not going to deal with it unless you deal with it. And that means putting yourself on equal level in terms of just humanity and humanhood. You're equal to your bosses. You're equal to your coworkers. You are equal. And so that's important that they understand that, and that what they're doing is wrong, and what they're doing is they're creating bad habits for themselves that are eating themselves up. They're becoming worse and worse and worse of a person by the day. Literally by the day. They're becoming worse and worse of a person. Their soul is in need of help. And so the only way to help them is to change things as they are right now. And I'll tell you, some people have such deep pride and hatred in their hearts that they would rather fire you than fix those problems. And if that's the route that they want to choose, you'd be better off for it if you left. Because otherwise, who are you subjecting yourself to in your workplace? The kind of person that is like legitimately kind of evil. And here's the thing. It doesn't mean that they're a fully evil person that they can never change and they can never get better or anything like that. But the point is, you are subjecting yourself to that. And you become like the people you're around. And I know that that's not entirely true, but it's not as if they don't have an effect. They clearly have an effect on you right now. You're dealing with a lot of extra stress in your life that you don't need. So my point is, I know it's rough, and I know you wish this could happen and solve itself without things getting more conflicted, without causing more conflict between you and this person or persons. But the thing is, if they are as they are right now, not because of you, but because they are yelling at you, then you just figuring out how to deal with being yelled at better is not going to solve. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help them. It's going to make it so that they learn to yell at you even better. I know someone personally who got really good at that. So good at that, they just didn't feel anything at all. And what happened? Like literally, the person just got worse. The person just got worse and worse and worse. And that person's in this chat right now, so they can tell you their story if they want. My point is, unless you stand up for yourself and your own dignity, nothing's going to change here. And they are going to continue to get worse. Because what's happening is they are getting rewarded for not noticing your dignity. And not treating you... In fact, they're getting rewarded for violating your dignity, is the actual way to say that. Okay? It's me. Yeah, she knows. So by violating your dignity, by violating the respect that they should have for you, are you in Discord server, Yamblue? Yeah. I think she is, but might be. They are getting rewarded for violating you. Don't let people violate you. If you let people violate you and your dignity, you will go further down a road that is more and more... I'm just going to say the word, and you have to understand the word means many things. More and more perverted. Okay? So you have to stand up for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself, because no one wants that for you. No one here wants that for you. Perversion is... I mean, the point of perversion is when you treat something in spite of its dignity. Okay? That's what perversion is, and it a lot of times is used sexually, but it can be many different things. Okay, and so lust is an inappropriate action towards others, and it ignores the dignity of a human being or dignity of an object, the dignity of themselves, right? That's lust. And so lust has a lot of problems, and it's not all sexual. So it's just important to know that there's a lot of problems going on right now. And so you aren't going to be able to solve it for them, but you could be a step in the right direction for them. But you are being a step in the wrong direction if things continue as they are, unfortunately. Because when you are a person that is subject of lustful actions, and I know that they might not be sexual, but they are still lustful because they're disregarding your dignity, not treating you correctly. They're using they're using you to their own end, which is to, yeah, you get it. Okay, so if you allow them to keep doing that, and I know I've said this before, you are causing them, unfortunately, it's not your fault, but you are allowing them the satisfaction, the pleasure of being lustful and getting a reward. And so you have a chance to stop it. It doesn't mean that you will win. It doesn't mean that they will stop. But it means there's a chance. And it also means that you will prevent them from having the pleasure. And if you prevent them from having the pleasure, I know it doesn't seem like pleasure, but it's a form of pleasure. It's letting off their steam, at the very least, for their own benefit and not for yours, right? That's using you. That's lust is about that, okay? So you at least can stop them by standing up for yourself. And when you do that, that's one extra instance that helps deter them from that bad anti-virtue, that what do you call it, the deadly sin, if you will, okay? This is one of the deadly sins, right, that really people get caught up in. It's an addictive thing. It's not your fault, it's not their fault. They're sucked into this addiction, right? And they don't see people's dignity and they don't treat people well, right? That's just how it is. So my point is, you can be a force for good here, but it might not look like you wanted to at first. You have to stand up for yourself. And that might just be letting things blow over at times and recognizing I can't do anything to make this any better. So I'm just going to let them be kind of act like, a little pathetic, and then we're just going to move on. And then there are other times where you're like, no, this isn't right for you to treat humans like this, me or anybody. I'm going to put a stop to this. This is not right behavior. This really is not appropriate, especially because you're my boss. Like, you're the one supposed to be looking after me and making sure I'm protected here. And you're the one that's causing me to, like, be damaged. If you're in a position that's higher than me, then you're supposed to be using that position in your dignity. Like, literally, this is how it works. You've been granted position of power so that you can use it well and to better humanity and to protect those under you. That's why you have the power. It's to protect the people under you. So if you are using that to hurt the people under you, that is perverted. And this needs to stop. Right? Now, I don't know how you're going to have to do it. Each person has a different way that they listen. And sometimes you have to be straight with people. Sometimes you just have to be like, hey, buddy, let's have a talk about this for a little bit. Like, let's go to the side and talk for a little bit. And sometimes people, like, respond to that. Sometimes people like that one-on-one time. I've had a lot of people make a lot of changes in their heart on one-on-one times that are really intimate and just, like, kind of like buddy-buddy. Sometimes you have to get people there. Sometimes you have to give people, like, a hug, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I really fell apart there. I need to stop doing that. Some people already know, and they just need that. They just need to someone who will encounter them in the right way. And I get that you don't necessarily know what that is with the people that are yelling at you, but you can't let them do what they're doing. For your sake. Hold on, it's not just for your sake, for your sake, for their sake, and the sake of the rest of all the people that they're doing this to. Yes. In a way, when you stand up for yourself, you stand up for the people that are also being subjected to this outside of just yourself. So you save a lot of people. It's important to do your best here and to recognize now might be the time to just go look for another job so you can get that chip on your shoulder so you can stand up to your boss and be like, look, I don't need you. I already have another job lined up if I want it. So I'm not going to put up with your crap. You can either have me here and we'll be great, and you can stop yelling at me, or I'm gone. And they're like, fine, then you're gone. Then fine, I'm gone. But if they're like, okay, you know what, we need you, and I was wrong for treating you that way, like, awesome. That's a huge step. That's a huge step. Doesn't mean everything's solved, but it's a huge step. My point is, this isn't necessarily your fault. It's not even your problem. Okay? That's kind of what I'm saying here. This isn't your problem. It's theirs. But because their problem is so intense, it is now made the evil in their heart has made it a problem for everybody else around them. Right? And so it's their problem to solve. It's not yours. It's theirs. You can be someone who leverages some kind of systems to help them. You can be someone who helps them. But in the end, all that you're dealing with here, all of these people yelling at you, whether it's family life, work life, friends, whoever, that's not your fault. That's them. That's on them. And that's their problem to solve. What's beautiful is you should at least stop them from having their reward on you. Okay? And that's the minimum. And the next step is maybe helping them if you can. Okay? So that's what I got for you. And I know that's a hard road, but Ellie, that's something you're completely capable of, but also completely worthy of. That is something that you should not be treated poorly, ever. So, I mean, especially all you're trying to do is do your hardest at work. Why? It's like none of this makes sense. It's completely inappropriate. So it's not your fault. Not like your problem. It is your problem now because evil has creeped its way into your world. But your problem to solve is this anger thing. But that's not really like the core problem here. The core problem is the other people who are treating you poorly. You need to make sure, like Joe said, don't invalidate your anger. Don't invalidate yourself. Okay? Don't invalidate yourself. You are completely dignified. You are a dignified human being, respectable, beautiful, incredible, lovely. You are all of those things. You are incredibly lovable, incredibly lovely, incredibly loving. Okay? You are, Ellie. And so don't invalidate yourself, especially not in front of other people who are going to use you. Let me say that again. Don't invalidate yourself, especially in front of people who are going to use you. Right? So don't invalidate your anger, like Joe was talking about. That's a big step up. That's something that you can work on. And don't invalidate yourself in front of other people. Okay? That's something for them and something for you. That's setting the world into its right trajectory when you make sure that you are not invalidated. That's setting things up for holiness, okay? So no more invalidating your anger and your emotions. No more invalidating yourself in front of other people, allowing them to step on you, okay? That's my 2 suggestions there. And my 3rd suggestion, start looking for a new job. So that's what I got for you. I know that's hard, Ellie, and I hope that it's helpful. I sincerely hope that it's helpful, even though I know it's hard. But yeah. Joe, you got anything you want to add on that?
Ryan, I want to reiterate what you said about looking for a new job. I know you said that's step number 3 or part number 3.
Yeah, it was number 1 and then it became 3.
But that's actually, but that actually, honestly, that is the one thing to even begin the search for another job and to be moving in that direction will psychologically help you be able to look at these things more assertively and a little bit less connected, right? So it'll give you a little bit more confidence because you'll know you're just like, hey, my time is limited here. So I don't have to worry about it. Like, I don't have to worry about keeping this job. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling to have. And I've had that a few times with employment and in personal life where it's like, you know what, I'm not going to be in this situation anymore.
Yeah.
And when you
feel like you can just take on anything at that point. You're like, you don't put
at
up
that
with
point, you're
anything.
just like, you know what? I could totally just spout off. I could punch you, except for that I'd go to court. So I don't want to do that. But I could defend myself and get fired, and it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Yeah.
I'm already planning on quitting.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it gives you a little bit more confidence. But here's the funny thing: like Ryan's talking about these things, and he's talking about, asserting yourself and saying things and explaining to people how, were you saying that, like you went through this explanation of how these things, when you say these things, this is how it is, or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Now, here's the thing: in the moment, it's going to be really difficult to be that eloquent.
Yeah, you have to. It takes time to learn how to speak with assertiveness and respect at the same time.
Even still, the first time you do this, the first time you actually stand up for yourself and, like call something crap that's crap, like when somebody says something and you're just like, that is the dumbest, like what makes you, I remember saying to one person, in what world would you think that's appropriate?
Yeah.
Said that to one of my bosses.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh man, I bet you that made him
no,
angry.
I'm not going to do that. That's not right for me to do, But when you do that for the first time, it's not going to come out that eloquently. It's probably going to come out a little bit weird, and you're going to have like all this adrenaline just like go.
Oh yeah.
Like going through your body, and you're going to be like shaking, and then like they'll be shaking because they're like, how they're not supposed to just like talk back to me. Like, and so they'll be all caught off guard. You'll be full of adrenaline.
That's true.
And then but it's weird. The moment you stand up for yourself, it changes the whole dynamic. The moment you do that, it's like bullying. You've heard this classic story over and over again. I've seen it with my kids. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen, like somebody's bullying you. The moment you stand up for yourself and assert your dignity, you don't have to like downplay theirs, but the moment you just stand up for yourself, the dynamic changes. And what happens is maybe you become friends. I had a boss like that would, and she was just like, I worked at a car wash, right? And I was like the lowest man on the totem pole. And I was like, already, it was a weird time in my life. I already had a kid, all this kind of stuff, whatever. I was working at a car wash because it was the only thing I could find. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was great fun. And this boss that I had, she was kind of a tyrant type person, but she was just a choleric personality. She was just kind of like one. I don't even know which on the Myers-Briggs this would
I don't
be.
feel like it's those translate to each other very well. So just describe what a choleric is.
There some of them are different. Okay, so it's a cleric is generally when there are a lot of times in leadership positions, they go hard, right? They're extroverted and task oriented. So they will run over people to get a task done.
Mm-hmm.
And people skills are like last on the list of things to figure out because they want to get stuff done. And you know what? I have these people that are put under my charge and I'm in charge of them. So I'm going to tell them what to do and they're going to doggone do it because I'm their boss.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they kind of have this mentality. Right. So,
and that might be who you're dealing with, by the way. More often than not, it is because they're usually the people who end up in leadership.
Yep. Well, and not only that, they're probably sandwiched between you and their boss. Like they're getting heat from their boss telling them, oh, it's got to operate this way and you're in charge. So why aren't you doing it? Like you get your people in line, all this kind of stuff. And so maybe they come in and they act like that because they're getting treated like that. And that was the thing I learned about this gal who was my boss at this car wash. She asked me to do some really stupid thing, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And she just like got all like taken aback and flustered, and I'm like, I had this adrenaline because I told my boss no, like, oh no, you know. And like you could see this taken abackness, and what I came to find out later was it was the stress of her being told that she needed to tell us to do these things, and it was going to reflect bad on her if we didn't do it. Right? And so there may be some kind of a sandwich going on that if it's your boss, see, I don't know. I don't necessarily know all the details on this, but if that's the type of relationship you have with this person, if they're your boss, maybe they have a boss and then they're getting all this stuff, right? But what happened was me and this boss of mine actually became friends, and we hung out, and we, whatever. And it was cool. And we, she came to some of my shows when I was playing, when I was gigging at bars and stuff. And it was, like we got to know each other at a different level. And it all started when I stood up for myself. It was crazy. But at that point in time, it was just like, I was just tired. I was tired. Maybe a lot like you are, Ellie. Tired. Tired of just like all this crazy stupidness. And then I remember, so there was my boss at this car wash. There's a girl, right? And then her boss was like the regional manager of multiple places, right? And I remember him coming up to me. This was the most hilarious thing ever. Like, I remember going into this office, and they were going to write me up for something. I don't even remember what it was. They saw me on camera. I was not being productive like I should be in the office. I wasn't out pulling weeds around the building when no cars were coming through and all whatever. And so they were like, "Well, we're going to write you up." And I was in there, my boss, and then my boss's boss. And my boss's boss was telling me, "We're going to write you up." And I was like, "Okay, do it." Well, you're going to write about me on a piece of paper. Is that supposed to scare me? I know what you're doing. And he's like, "What? What do you mean you know what I'm doing?" I'm like, "You are protecting yourself from paying me unemployment if you decide you want to fire me. Because if you have a trail of disciplinary action, you can claim, oh, see, he was a problem employee, and so we had to fire him, and so then you don't have to pay me unemployment. I know exactly what you're doing. Give me the paper. I'll sign it. I don't care." And so that was my boss's boss that I was talking to. And my boss was like over in the corner. She was just like, she was almost in tears. Like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's like talking back to like," oh. And I'm just like, look, am I supposed to be afraid of a pen and a piece of paper?
That was my attitude too. I got rid of once too.
I'm like, really? Like, dude. So anyway, Ellie, we're getting off track. I'm telling you some stories. These stories are meant to help you understand, okay, this is going to be a process. None of this is going to happen right away. You might go through some really uncomfortable situations, and they're going to be uncomfortable at the time, but they turn into kind of funny stories sometimes, right? I'll tell you, when I was in that office with my boss and my boss's boss, and they were writing me up and I was mouthing off to him, I was like full of adrenaline. I was freaking out inside. Right? Like, but I was like, look, I don't even care anymore. Like, fire me, please. Right? Like,
I'm my last straw already. Who cares? Like, just take it away.
Yep.
It just reminds me that I have one straw left. It's just like,
I know.
Get me out of here.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay. So Snowlock, I see you in here. Yeah. You had an assistant manager at your old store. A lot of coworkers complaining about her being uptight and rude. I pulled her to the side and respectfully asked what's going on, because from how she see it, she's someone above her yelling at her like how she's yelling at us. Me and her quickly became very good friends at work and the other person that I trust. See, it happens. You become colleagues, you become friends. But there has to be mutual respect there.
Which doesn't happen unless you have the gall to establish yourself.
Right. So you won't get to that point right away, probably. Okay? Because here's the thing. One of the things that I've had to learn to, and I still work on this, but there is maybe probably about 75, 85% of the population, we have this streak in us that's like a people pleaser streak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want to make the people around us happy. We want to please them. We don't want them to be upset. We don't want to have, whatever. We want, we're like people pleasers. The other 15% are the cholerics. Right? That don't care. But here's the thing. When we go down the route of people pleasing, we end up becoming more and more of a doormat. And we get less respect from the people. So, like, if you can get into the habit of saying the word no, it feels weird at first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to learn that one.
It feels weird at first when you can say no. And I'm not talking like say no to a kid, because sometimes you have to say no to a kid who's going to put their hand on a hot plate or something like that. When you can learn to say no, and the more you can do that, even you can say it in front of the mirror. You can even say it to yourself. If you notice yourself going down a path that you know isn't right, you can look in the mirror and tell yourself no. That's effective as well. But when you can get inside you comfortable with telling people no, you start down that path of getting away from people pleasing and into more self-respect and mutual respect with your fellow human beings. And here's the crazy thing. You'll grow. This will take time. It's okay to screw up. You're going to mess it up from time to time. I can't even tell you how many times I've messed this up, how many times I've chickened out, how many times I've said, this is the last bit and I'm going to like stand up for myself, and then I haven't done it. I've chickened out. I did that more times than I'd be comfortable telling you about, but it was a lot. More times than I can even count. I've chickened out. And that's okay. This is a journey. This is where you learn to forgive yourself, to move forward and keep growing. And as you grow, you'll start to amaze yourself. And then you'll have instances like just recently, we started a new cabinet shop. You know that. There's a house like that's right next door to the building where our shop is, right? And we had our garage door open. We have garage doors on either side of our shop, right? And we had them both open because we were doing all kinds of work. We were sanding down metal and paint and all this craziness. And so there was all this dust and stuff in the air. And so we were just trying to get air flowing through there to get this crap out of there, right? The guy who lived in that house came walking up, and I could tell by his walk he was feeling aggressive, right? He walked up, he was upset. And I saw him. I was in there working. I had my gas mask on. I had my safety glasses on. I had headphones. I had all this stuff on, and I saw him walking toward the shop. And so I immediately, as soon as I saw him, I took my gas mask off, and I walked toward the door. I took my glasses off, and I took my headphones off, and I walked up to the door, and I said, "Hey." And he said, "Hey, I have an issue." And I'm like, "Okay." He said, "I need you to have your garage door closed because my dogs are going crazy. My wife's sick, and the dogs are barking like crazy, and it's bothering her, and she's sick, and blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay. That's no problem at all. We can close our garage door, sir."
It's diffused. You can? Great, thank you.
Yeah. I like immediate, like I'm like, he thought he came over preparing to fight me, and I just assertively said, "No problem." But I didn't, I wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. No, I was just like, That's no problem at all. I appreciate you coming and asking. I appreciate you coming and telling me there was an issue. So now we can address it. That's no problem at all. We can close our garage door. I apologize for working so late because we've been working from like noon until like 2 or 3 in the morning every day. And it's like ridiculous. I know. And he's like, no, that's no problem at all. Like, you guys are working hard. I know that you guys are starting a company here, blah, 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 blah. You got to work. You got to get all this stuff done. But it's just, and then he started pinning it on his wife. My wife's sick and blah, blah. And I'm like, look, it's okay. We can keep our garage door closed so your dogs don't bother. What we'll do is we'll crack open this other door, to get a little bit of airflow through there. No problem at all. But I didn't feel like I was in danger. I didn't feel like I was being walked all over. He came to me with a legitimate concern, but he was like ready for a fight. And I totally diffused it, like Ryan said, just by saying, "Oh, no problem at all." And I said it like that. I didn't say it in a wimpy way. I didn't say it in a
aggressive way.
And I didn't fight him either. I wasn't like, "Oh, what? What's your what? You got a problem?" Blah, 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 blah. No. I just matter-of-factly said it. And then when you can do that, that's the best tone to have. When someone's yelling at you or trying to walk all over you or all this kind of stuff. If you can have a matter-of-factly, just assertive, whatever. So someone comes and spouts at you and they're yelling about something. And you might have to say, okay, man, that sounds like a real issue. Is there something that I need to do here? Or are you just talking? Like, is there some way that I can help this problem? Well, yeah, you got to. Okay, no problem at all. Or if it's not reasonable, you can be like, that doesn't sound like it's my job. That sounds like somebody else ought to be handling that. I mean, you are free to talk to my boss. Well, I am your boss. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You've got me doing this, this, and this, and this. Which would you prefer? Because I don't have time to do all of it. Right? And it comes to a point where you're going to be able to assert yourself. You're going to be able to be cool with that. Ah, Ellie. I hate people being mad at me, though. I freeze up and just crumble. That's, unfortunately, part of the people pleaser in us. The more you're able to say no, the more comfortable you'll be with that. And then eventually, over time, the more you practice this, the more you'll just be like, you know what? People are going to be mad at me or they're not going to be mad at me. Whatever. I don't care. I'm here to get something done. I'm here to do this. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's
but
the
a
point.
lot of that,
like,
I think,
you don't have control whether people are mad at you or not, whether you're a people pleaser or not. You can, I'll tell you what, being a people pleaser definitely helps. Get rid of some of the people being angry at you, but it doesn't mean no one will ever be mad at you again if you perfect it. Like, it's just like people, like, you're Christian. People literally crucified Jesus. So, yeah, I mean, you can't do better than that.
Yep. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, Ellie, I'm sorry. We went on and on and on about this, and I apologize. But you can take your anger. I think one of the best steps is what Ryan talked about, though. Look for a new job. Try and find a new situation for yourself. Because the moment you know that you have something else to go to, or even that you're looking, even that you're moving in the direction of having something else to go, it will build your confidence up.
Mm-hmm. And you'll no longer have to be at the whim of their anger or wrath, rather.
Yes. And then, yeah. And then inside, you can say to yourself, oh, this isn't going to be that. Whatever, dude. Whatever. I'm going to be out of here in a month. Whatever. But I understand. We want people to think good about us.
Yeah, of course.
We don't want people to be mad at us. You know? But then there comes a point in time when it's just like, look, I don't care. Sometimes it takes years of abuse to get to that point. Remember, it took me that long with one individual where finally it was happening again. And I just couldn't help myself. I laughed at her. I just laughed. She's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, there is no way you're ever going to be happy, is there? I, I try the best I can. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't work. It doesn't make you happy ever. Right?
Not up to you.
But it's not, right? Hey, Ellie, you're awesome. I should really get in Discord more and be able to respond to you faster. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I was gonna
I'm so
apologize for that
sorry.
too. Right before we started the topic, I was like, no, I don't know if that's appropriate, but I have to, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I think I'm pretty much done. But
Yeah.
Ellie, you are so amazing.
Mhm.
Just the limited amount of interaction I've had with you and the messages you've sent, and just the little bit that, I mean, we haven't talked that much, but I can tell in your heart you're such a wonderful person. You're
Agreed.
so amazing. And like, I want to go and beat up this person, but I know that's not appropriate. So I want to go and talk to him on your behalf, but I know that's not going to really help you either. Like, what's really gonna make the difference for you is you learning this process. And you can go back and re-listen to what we said, but I would definitely, honestly, I would start with what Ryan said. Start looking for a different employment situation.
I'll tell you.
At least start looking.
I think we should definitely move on, but I just want to say one last thing on this. I'll tell you the one thing that really kind of pulls me through all of this. Now I have the great blessing, thanks be to God, to be very tactful and prudent in how I deal with people, and have good conversational skills, so that no matter what's going on, I can usually diffuse the problem. I can usually find ways to say things that are easier of an impact for people to take, and so on. But what I want to say is this. For me, God and holiness is more important than evil, okay? And if I can choose between the two of which one's going to reign in any moment, I'll always choose whatever is holiest, right? And so when I'm pinned up against the walls that you're currently pinned up against, I won't let people walk all over me, because I recognize that's not holy. And the holy thing to do in that scenario is to not let that happen, and to stand up for something that's dignified, which is myself, or stand up for something that's dignified, which is them. I stand up for a lot of people. I'm quick to stand up for other people. Okay? I'm sure you are too, Ellie. You got to do that for yourself. So
I think Super Neamblu said, what if they said that to your sister?
Right, yeah. Exactly. You'd have a response right away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so much good in the chat, by the way. I was going to say that. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah. My point is, whenever I'm in a scenario where it's like, I know it's scary, but I have to stand up. It's like my morals, what is holy, is more important than whatever I'm going through right now. And so that kind of gives me the power to just stand up and do the right thing, right? And I hope that makes sense. I hope that I can impart that feeling on you. And it's kind of a confusing feeling, but it's like, if you can get that down, then whenever anyone is doing something like this to anyone, it gives you the ability to just step in and be like, hey, what's going on here? Is there any way we can resolve the problem without being, without attacking each other? I think that'd probably be best, right? And then people will be like, they'll immediately be caught off guard, and they'll start to lower themselves and start talking, usually, unless they're crazy, which does happen. But I'll tell you what, I've been in a lot of crazy. I've seen a lot of crazy in my life, and here I am. So
yeah. And a lot of it came from me.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
that's not true at all.
No, you've been through a lot of crazy, man. I'll tell you
So,
what. Yeah.
you know, it's important to let people to forgive people the moment they're doing something and look at them and be like they don't understand how pathetic they're being, and that's okay. It's okay to have that. It's okay to look at people and have that feeling, because that's the feeling of compassion. That's the feeling of like, I understand it's hard. So it's okay to be the one that has to step up for them, even if they're the ones that are doing the bad, right? It's like, so my point is, if you can get your mind wrapped around that, it becomes easier and easier to just not have to think twice about just getting up and being like, hey guys, let's do things the right way. Because I think that's the most important thing, right? Let's do things the right way. And then people will just get on board with you generally. Like, if you have that assertive quality about you, like, and your morals are put into question, and you can make a lot of things about your morals, because most things are, not most, but a lot of conflicts are about morals, really, to be honest. And if you can put that moral assertion in there, you instantly, like, people will start following you. People will just listen to you and what you have to say. And it's not because you're charismatic. It's because you make sense. And because it needs to be said, and people actually want the good. Most people actually legitimately want goodness, but they need to be presented with it. And so you have the opportunity. You're the person that knows what can be good, and you can put it out there for people to like, oh yeah, that's our light, you know? So, Ellie, you're smart. You can do that. And sorry for carrying on this topic for so long. We only have like 15 minutes left of the show, so we can just
tell you what, Ellie, though,
if we want.
let me just emphasize one thing about this. We took this whole time on your topic. You are so important. So, like, when you're getting run over and you feel like you're less dignified or whatever, you are important. Your topic was this important that we would spend this amount of time on it. And that's legit. Now, part of it is that I just like to hear myself speak.
Oh yeah, that feels. I like to hear that too. It's real good, Joe.
Actually, I'm kidding. I hate my voice. No, Ellie, you are. Yeah, you don't deserve to be treated that way. You have way more dignity than that. You are loved. That's all. Okay, we can move on now.
That's awesome. Yeah, and yeah, so many good things in the chat from all of you guys. Really good things. So thank you all for being a part of this, and for sharing your experiences, because they're definitely valuable. Yeah.
These bearded Americans.
Yeah. Talking in the middle of the
Americans.
night. In the middle of the week. You Germans and your anger problems. Sorry, that's the topic. We're kidding. Or I'm kidding, I should say. Yeah. All right. Well, let's just do another one. Is that all right?
Give him a knuckle sandwich. Snowlock Holmes. Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna mark this one as
Twashu. You know we love you.
Yeah. That's Riku, right?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? Sorry.
You don't have anger issues?
Riku doesn't. Sure? Riku's perfect.
That's true.
Well, she's not any less than perfect.
Well, and Riku is German, but doesn't speak as loudly as most Germans.
Dang. Maybe that's the ticket.
Yeah. Very kind. Yeah. Very kind-hearted.
All right, so I think I saw Myang-Leos in the chat a little while ago. Yeah, Myang-Leos, are you still here? Do you want us to do your topic? If not, I think we've got some anonymous ones that we can get to. Yo, sup, Myang-Leos.
Sup.
You've
Sup,
got one
bro?
called, oh, geez. Are you kidding me?
Meaning?
Meaning? Okay, we're gonna have to do that a different time, man. That's too big of a one, I think. You're asking meaning, like I'm meaning. Oh man, I feel like that's the meaning of life question. Um, Goodness gracious. Is it? Hold on.
We'll get there. We'll get to that one eventually. Yeah, that sounds like it might be a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah. That's a good one. All right. Well, I don't think we have time for that one. How about we do someone else? Sorry, Myanglia. Sorry to call you, and then say, never mind.
That one would take too long. You agree? Okay, cool.
Okay, I like this one. This is anonymous. This one's first on our list, and it's titled "Goodbyes." So that's appropriate since we're gonna be saying goodbye soon, but um, also a good topic that isn't something like, "Hey, talk to us about the entirety of meaning." So, um, not that goodbyes are a shallow subject at all either. So we'll do our best. We're definitely gonna go over. So thank you, Anonymous, for this topic. I hope that we can do it justice. And yeah,
Just justice, though, not anything more than that.
Right, and nothing below, nothing more. Just simply justice.
Just
justice.
Just justice.
Just justice. All right, here we go. This is on the screen. This again is by Anonymous. It's titled "Goodbyes," and it reads as follows: How do you deal with goodbyes? Soon I have to leave my current life behind to explore the next step in my life, in a new place. But it's a 2-hour plane ride away from where I've spent most of my life, where I've built relationships, been a part of communities, and found much of who I am. In terms of my family, I've already started planning plane rides for holidays. So I know So I know I'll see them. But, well, it feels like such a jump going from seeing them every day to every weekend, to now every few months. In terms of friends, I know some will survive the distance, whilst others will pause. It feels so hard to let go of such amazing people, because I'm so grateful they were even in my life. Mixed with the excitement, fear, and determination is my sunken heart. I love so much, but it feels like so much to love with no one around. Oh, but it feels like so much to love with no one around. Yeah, this is a really good topic, actually, and one that I can understand. I can sympathize with some degree. I've never really felt this perfectly as you feel it, Anonymous. I mean, I'll definitely be the first to admit that. I'm currently living very far from home, but also I'm with my wife, so it's like I'm at home too. Sort of we are each other's home, and that's nice and reassuring, and it feels good. But and I've moved out from Michigan all the way to Colorado, which was it was a 16-hour road trip every time. Well, a 16 to 18-hour road trip every time we did it. Yeah, been around, and I can say that there's so many goods, but I understand the sorrows and the pains of goodbye here. And I just want to say one line that the lines that really struck me here are that you have so much love. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And I think that's a really awesome thing to talk about, and something that's an awesome attribute. And that makes me really happy to hear. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. I first want to hear what Joe's got to say. So whenever Joe is ready, he can take the mic and do his bit.
I'm squinting.
Oh,
I'm not messing around.
Oh man.
Snowlock. It's useless because I move or got used to goodbyes all the time. I understand. So okay.
Yeah.
So this is anonymous, right? Life. Yeah. So anonymous. How do I deal with goodbyes? Sometimes they're hard. Sometimes they're easier than others. I mean, especially okay. I guess it depends on where you're at. How many times have you moved before? It sounds to me like maybe this is one of the first times.
At least the biggest,
that you've
for
experienced
sure.
this. So what I would encourage you to do, because your heart is in such the right place, where you love these people, you know you're gonna miss them. You're setting up times to come and see them, you know, to visit, all that kind of thing, you know, all that. So that's great. Um, and you're not necessarily letting go, but you're just moving forward. It's really weird because sometimes I've experienced both directions, right? It's easier in your position, Anonymous. It's easier when you're the one moving forward to a new phase.
Mm,
It's
true.
harder when someone really, really close to you moves to a new phase and leaves you behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's from my personal experience, that's more difficult,
I can imagine that,
right?
Andrew.
And maybe it's just because of, you know, attachments that I've developed, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that to me is
Well,
more difficult.
I think it makes a lot of sense what you said because you have something you're moving forward to, as
Hmm.
opposed to just simply you're all you were doing is staying your ground, and then all of a sudden, like you're losing
Now they're
things.
gone.
Yeah, you're
Right.
losing people,
Exactly.
and you're not moving forward through it. You're just kind of feel like you're moving backwards. So it's much easier
Hmm.
to be in the position where you're like, all right, I'm excited for this new adventure that I'm going on. Yeah, So I think it makes sense. I don't know if that's everyone's experience, but
Hmm.
oh,
Yeah, it's harder when you don't have that thing to look forward to, and you just, you know, your life is still the same and going the same. Now, so here's what I've had to learn in some of this is that um I try now to always be in a state of reinventing myself
hmm,
and of moving on to something, even if I'm not moving to a new location, even if I'm not really changing much about my life, if I can continually be pursuing growth, it's kind of in that, you know, it definitely helps put things into perspective when people come and go out of my life, in and out, whatever, and whatever, because that's the truth of life.
yeah,
It's
heavens.
temporary. We're not here forever. Now, in my belief system as a Catholic, we exist forever, you know, we just change location when we die, right? But we don't live in this same state forever. And it kind of goes that way. I've lived long enough to see friends to have really, really close friends that then I haven't talked to in forever. You know, we move on. And it's a little different now than it used to be because now we have so much social media, and whether it's Discord or, you know,
Yeah,
whatever ways we communicate with people, all that kind of stuff, we can stay in touch. So it's a little bit harder when somebody's not around as much or whatever, right? But so here's how you deal with that. Like, I would say wrap yourself up into where you're headed, but keep that heart for the people that were in your old state as well. Keep that heart and see if you can stay in contact as much as possible. Yeah, you might not have as much time to talk to them. Yeah, you might not be in touch as much because things get busy. Sometimes whatever happens. Sometimes you go off and you get yourself married and you have some kids, and then all of a sudden, like, your whole life is turned upside down and you got nothing else, because now you've got more lives that you're accountable for, and there's all this crazy, right? And then that all grows.
yeah, that changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just look at your parents. I mean, like, are they still friends with the people that they were friends with when you were a little kid? Probably some. They probably also have new friends that they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
when you were a little kid. Like that just never stops. Like even though,
Mm-hmm.
like you're like once I get an adult and I have a kids, then then I guess that's it. It's like no, it's just things keep moving.
Mm-hmm. They do. And I hope because I've seen this happen. I've experienced it too, where I've felt like I've been abandoned by people or whatever, right? And that's painful. But then I've also experienced that where I'm moving on to something new and bright and all this, where it's, maybe I got a new job and maybe it's in a new city and maybe it's an accomplishment because I've been preparing for this. And now all of a sudden here it is and I can go and it's a new adventure and a new place and all of this great new stuff. And all the people I left behind are just back there. Right? But when I'm the one that's still back there and someone else moves on, especially if they were really close to me, that's a little bit more painful. And so one of the things I found to do to help combat that is to always be reinventing who I am. And you're in that position right now where you're moving to a new place. It's kind of automatically a reinvention of yourself. New locations are like that. To me, that's exciting. I love new locations. I love new places to explore. I love finding, man, I want to go. There are so many places I'd like to live. And I've only gotten to live in like 4 or 5 different cities. Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you need to move, man. Michigan is really cold anyways, so.
Yeah, they've all been in Michigan.
Yeah. Go somewhere warm, man. Jeez.
I've never lived outside of Michigan. No. I'm not moving someplace warm. I like it cold.
Well,
if anything, I'm moving to Canada.
Kiribati's not hot.
That's true.
Huh?
I could move to Kiribati. Kiribati is in the South Pacific.
Yep. It's the perfect place to live on this earth. If you
kind of near the Philippines and
Samoa's.
It's near nothing. It's near like
absolutely nothing. Yeah, the closest I think
it's an island in the Pacific somewhere. Yeah. So it's this tiny little island, but we figured out that that's the place where the temperature is the most amicable. Right? It's always 72.
It's it's
72 degrees Fahrenheit.
The record high was like the record high of all time for that area of the world was like, I think it was like 80, maybe 85. And the record low of all time was, I think, 65. But all year round, it's basically 70. That's amazing. It also floods. And also probably don't really have electricity or internet. So it's a whole different lifestyle. But your temperature is good.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah. You'll become.
August says, "Come move to California." I didn't know you lived in California, but man, I'd have trouble. I figured in California I'd just get cancer because everything causes cancer in California.
That's true. Yeah, you have to be really careful.
Everything is known to the state of California to cause cancer. So, I figure I'm immune to cancer if I don't live in California.
That's right. That's right. That's how that works. That's how that works. That's real science. Sure.
That's real science. Oh my gosh. Still scorching hot in the fall. I like the fall. I stepped outside today. It was a beautiful day. It was great because it's like the sun was out and I felt like I felt the sun and the sun was really, really warm. Really warm. Like it felt like a summer sun on my shoulders, right? But there was a cool breeze. Like a fall breeze. So it was like this mixture of hot and cold all at once. And I'm just standing out there like watching the wind in the trees and the sun's on me. And I'm just like, I love the fall. It was just like perfect.
Can I just say something? You actually probably would like where we live in Australia because we have a longer fall/spring than we do in Michigan. It's the spring and fall actually exist here, and they're nice.
Spring can go take a short walk off or take a long walk off a short plank. Like that's what spring can do. But fall.
What's wrong with spring? Is it the allergies?
It's gross.
Spring and
spring
hold on.
Gross.
Hold on. Spring in Michigan is gross because spring in Michigan is just mud, snow. It's just snow and mud, and it's
mud and gross.
Dirt. It's gross. That's not how it is over here in Australia.
It stinks like thawing out farms.
Yeah, well,
there's
not
mud and poop.
It doesn't snow in Australia, so there's not, and it doesn't. It's not like raining in Australia. So spring is just like fall, kind of same temperature range. And not much going on other than some flowers are blooming now. That's it. That's about it.
Okay, that
Yeah,
wouldn't be so bad.
it's not
That
mud
wouldn't
over
be so
here.
bad.
I know. I grew up with
All right.
spring being mud and gross. Absolutely
It's just
gross.
nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But fall's great,
Mm-hmm.
except for it's when all the yellow jackets are trying to find a place to hibernate, and so they're a little bit more on edge, and
Oh, great.
they're everywhere, right? And so
Yeah.
like
Okay.
you gotta be careful of them. But anyway,
Regardless, that's nothing to do with the topic.
new adventures.
Sorry.
New adventures are wonderful, and reinventing yourself is great. And if you can find those spots, you're going to a new place, Anonymous. I'm super proud of you, and I'm excited for you. I think that's awesome. So it says spring is rainy, full of allergens. Spring flowers only last for about a week where I live. Yeah, that sounds a lot like Michigan. I think we're close to the same parallel from what I know. You know, we're kind of in that same, part on the hemisphere. But anyway.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah, if you can. So here's the thing. If you can focus to make the goodbyes easier, focus on the adventure. And I don't know, because maybe at some point you will be letting go of somebody else that's doing what you're doing. In those moments, you've got the right idea. It's mixed with excitement, fear, and determination. Wait, you love so much. You're so grateful that they were even in your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn to be thankful, at least it's bittersweet. It's not just bitter. If you can learn to be thankful that they were a part of your life, and who knows, your paths may cross again. You may never lose touch. Who knows? We all have this digital communication where we can do stuff. And, sometimes we get super busy and so we can't spend as much time there. And that's definitely where I'm at right now, and I apologize. But if we can focus on, we love those people, and we're excited about our new adventure, and be constantly in a state of reinventing yourself, then I think that's one of the best ways to navigate through goodbyes and to navigate through moving into new phases of life and other people moving to new phases of life, because this is the thing, you're never going to stop it. You're never going to stop it. It happens all around us all the time for the rest of our lives. People come and go out of our lives. They stay for a while, they leave. Some people stay for a really long time. But every single one of us, our lives are finite. It's just, I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat that too much. But yeah, everything on this planet has an end on this planet. And so moving on just becomes part of it. And it's okay. It's okay. And so when you're feeling loved and when you're loving others and they're close with you, really, really, really be there. Really love them. Because we don't ever know how long we have. And it's precisely that point that we don't know how long we have and that we know it will end. It's precisely that helps us to love that much deeper. If it was just always all the time and we knew it was going to last forever and all that kind of stuff, we'd take it for granted. But because we know it won't be there forever, we can love at a deeper level. And we can drink deeper of those moments and those people that we're around. So, I don't know. That's how I deal with it. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he's going to say something really wise. Right?
Yeah, I'll give you an attempt at saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
All I got is what I got. Actually, all I got is what the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit has for me too. So it's quite a lot.
Loving
What I
is what
got.
I got.
That's right.
I said,
So
remember
remember
that.
that. Yeah. Good stuff. Um.
I don't
So
cry when my
here's.
dog runs away. Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to. Um. So here's the thing. I think Joe said a lot already that was really good, Anonymous. I don't have too much to follow up on with that. Just a couple of things. Like I said in the beginning, something that really struck me and stood out to me was that, you said, well, basically where your heart is at. You care so much about these people, you recognize the way they might be feeling, and you love them so much. And yeah. And also this part where you said, but it feels like so much to love with no one around. And I have something I want to say about that too. But first, I want to talk about this. I've shared this story quite a few times. There was a time in my life that me and another person that I really liked a lot were moving away from each other, you could say. We were online friends, never anything more, but online friends. We did technically meet in person one time. But that being said, we for one reason or another, we're just parting ways, and I knew I would basically never see them again, and I haven't seen them since. And so I remember it was really hard on me, and I didn't really have, too much to say to anybody. But I remember I was in church, and it was just after this all happened, like maybe the next day or the day after. And I was in church, and this song came on, and it's one of my favorite songs, and to this day now is absolutely one of my favorite, mainly because of this moment. But it had been a very nice tune that I've always liked, and it's called "The Summons." And I would highly recommend just listen to that song and read the lyrics. This is a song about love. This is a song about partially. Yeah, you'll see how it connects with what you're going through. I'm pretty sure. It's about, it's a song that's about God, but it's also about love. And it's about love of God, but it's also about love between each other. It is love. It's a song that's about love. And, sorry.
Bless you.
Saliva went down my throat the wrong way. So, I would really encourage you, just take a moment after the stream or whenever you see this, go and just look up the song called "The Summons." You might have to type in "The Summons Hymn," Hymn. That's how you spell that word. "The Summons Hymn," and just give it a listen and read the lyrics. Very good. But I remember when I was in church and this song started playing and we were all singing it. And my mom leans over and was like, "Hey, this was Randall's favorite song," is what she said. Randall was a friend of ours who had recently passed away, completely unrelated to the person I was talking about, but a similar goodbye. And so the accompaniment of just all of these mixed feelings ended up with I just started crying in church, and it was fine. People I guess one or two people came up to my mom later and said, "Hey, is Ryan okay?" And she said, "Oh yeah, he's fine. Just the Holy Spirit, so the Holy Spirit came out and he just took over, whatever." And that was a good way to just kind of let people know that it was fine, and then they moved on. Yeah, the Holy Spirit came over me. That's the phrase that people use. But anyways, yeah, it was a very deep, touching, profound moment because this song taught me something, and that is the love we impart on others remains in them, and them in us. So when we leave loved ones behind, the reality is we are changed forever because of that love that we shared with them. And don't discount that. Don't turn that dial down. Turn that dial up, because that's true. The truth is, the interactions we have in each other's lives, especially those founded in love, remain with us, and they have transformed us into who we are and who we can be. So Um, as you go, as you journey forth, recognize, and obviously you already said that you are thankful and you already recognize the people around you, but also recognize the difference they've made in your life. And that remains true. And also don't forget about the difference and love that you shared in their life and made in their life. They are different now because of you. Even though you are leaving, their life is different now because of you. And that stays. And so it's kind of like when you move on, you should be saying, job well done, me. I left love there, and love's going to continue to bloom in them, and it's going to continue to shape their life, even though I'm not even there.
Mm-hmm.
I've done my job. I've done it well. You know, that's kind of how it's a good way of looking at it. It's an appropriate way of looking at it. It's not in a disrespectful way. It's not like, like you need to leave, but you get to leave. And even though you leave, all that love that you shared back there continues to grow, like seeds forming into plants, form into fruits and more seeds. So keep that in mind. Recognize that, because that's important. Part of what love is, and what makes it so beautiful. As for the second part, you said, the part that really caught me, you said, I love so much, but it feels like so much to love with no one around. And it can be really hard. It can be really hard. And I don't know if this is what you're experiencing, but this is something I've experienced. I remember being in an experience where I have an insane amount of love in my heart, but no one to spend it on. And that is a incredibly, I don't know the word for it. It's overbearing. I think that's the word. It's overbearing. It's so much weight that all you can do is kind of just lay there and cry, because you can't do anything else, because it's overwhelming. And it's okay. I want to let you know that that's okay. That's a beautiful thing. If that's what you're currently going through, if that's something you're going through right now, that is a beautiful thing. And there will come a day where that love that you've been blessed with will be for someone. And you will be able to love them wherever that is, whenever that is. It doesn't necessarily have to be romance, but it could be. But my point is, that love that you're given, that one that feels so overwhelming, that one that's in your heart and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? There's no one to spend it on. There's nothing, like, it's just overwhelming. And all you can do is cry about it. That love is a gift. And in a way, that's what you're feeling is more like God than anything. And I don't know if you're a religious person. If you are, then you'll understand what I just meant. Well, maybe. But I hope you do. Hope you do. That love is a gift. Even if it's hard. Love is such a gift. Even and especially when it's hard. I think there's a lot that you can relate to your creator with. If you experience that love, which has no one, like, you have so much love you can't do enough with it. That's a good place to be. That's closer to home than a lot of places. And so allow that to be. Don't push it away. Let it overwhelm you. Let it overcome you. And one day, or some days, every once in a while, whatever it is, you'll be granted the opportunity to love. And you'll realize that that love is, you are loving with such great and intense power Even if it looks humble and soft and gentle, the love that you're sharing is with it comes from such a powerful place. And that's a profoundly beautiful thing. So I guess what I'm saying is foster that feeling. Foster that. Don't let go of that. Foster that. Raise it up. Keep it strong. Hope for more. Even if it gets painful. Hope for more. Because that's good. That's really good. One of the most beautiful things ever. So that's what I have to say about that. And you are clearly a very loving person. So I think that's probably something you will, if you aren't already experiencing that, that is something you will experience in your lifetime. And when you get there, you'll know. You'll understand what I'm trying to say, I think. But I think that you probably maybe already have experienced this to some degree. So it's okay to be there. And it's a good place to be. So don't shy away from it. Don't feel like something's wrong or that things aren't the way that they're supposed to be or you're supposed to be back home or any of that. Doesn't mean any of that. Okay? In you, there's something being built up. There's something being increased. There's something growing inside of you. Let it grow. Let it blossom. Let it bloom. That is the love that is put into you by the people around you, by your creator, and by yourself through your own actions of love that you've shared with others. That is a seed fruiting, that is a seed budding, which will fruit later. So if what you're feeling right now is this intense feeling of love, which might make you feel lonely, don't call it loneliness. Because it's not that you're alone. It's that you've been gifted with such intense, good, beautiful love that it's overwhelming. And that's a good thing. And don't take that necessarily as a sign that you must return. Take it as a sign that you are growing. And that life, that you're going to need this love in the coming days in your life. And that love will change others' lives. Whoever's ahead of you, that's the thing, as I was saying, you leave behind so many people that you loved and that love remains in them and it continues to grow who they are. And you've got a lot more people out there to meet yet. You've got a lot of more instances of people that you need to love. And they're waiting for you. So you have to keep going. And it's good. So that's what I got to say on it. Don't shy away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's that.
Dive in.
Yeah.
Headlong. Don't shy away. Don't be afraid. It'll be fearful, maybe.
Yeah, that's okay. But that can also be excitement. Fear and excitement are the same.
It's the same bodily reaction, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The same feeling. It's just we assign a different label to it. Be not afraid. Be not afraid.
Oh man,
friend.
that triggers another song.
Mm-hmm.
Be not afraid. I go before you always. Yeah. Anyways, that was the wrong note at the top there, but whatever.
I totally knew that was wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was like, man, Ryan, it was so beautiful except for that wrong note.
It was it was so bad. It was like probably 40 cents off.
So
it was
bad.
It was
40
bad.
cents.
Yeah,
40
seriously.
Cents.
Seriously. It was between 30 and 50
that's like
cents
almost
off.
a half step.
It was between 30 and 50. I know, right? It was between 30 and 50% cents off. That's how bad it was. So like anyone who's
almost
listening,
a whole half of a step.
Check my work. Check my work.
Let the man sing. What? You want me to? No, I'm not singing.
Oh. You do all the time, Joe. You sing all the time, man. I hear you. Before the show, you were singing.
I do?
Yeah.
I was?
Yeah.
I was singing that one song.
Yeah.
I don't cry when my
Yeah, that was
love
like
goes
literally
away.
minutes ago.
I
You were
don't get
saying two
angry at the
different
bills
songs a
I
minute
have to
ago.
pay.
Yeah.
I don't get angry at my mom smoke. Oh wait.
Sing, sing,
Never mind.
sing. That's the name of a song, Ellie. Sing, sing, sing. Oh wait,
Sing,
no, it's
sing,
swing, swing,
sing,
swing.
sing.
Swing, 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 or sing,
No,
sing,
it's
sing.
sing, sing, sing. It's sing, sing, sing.
Okay,
It's a
yeah.
jazz tune.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Chips Ahoy. They used to use it for the Chips Ahoy commercials. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one. That's a good one.
I never sing. I know I never sing when we're calling. I'm sorry.
Aw.
I'm self-conscious of my singing. I don't like. I don't like
Ah.
my voice. Yeah, see, that's what I sound
That's
like
yeah. That's
usually.
it. That's what I sound like when I sing.
So
This reminds me of Manamana. Manamana. I've
I've
laughed.
left,
That's
but I plan to return. I think some independence will make me love more, but I want to love more back home. Is that a song?
yeah. No. That's August. He's I don't know if he's the anonymous person here because I don't think so because he had a topic before about this. And I don't know if this
Is that what karaoke is about? It's not about sounding good, it's about sounding bad together. Because, like,
that's
seriously,
funny. That's yeah.
I did a song, I performed a song karaoke, and I performed it well. Because it was one that I'd played and sang over and over and over and over and over again, you know? And they're like, oh yeah, Joe, get up there and sing, get up there and sing, get up there and sing. And and everybody just looked at me like I was an idiot.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. But then all these other people are up there, they're just like, and everybody's like cheering, yeah, man, you suck, good job, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's how it, yeah.
There's a TV show you gotta watch, Gravity Falls.
I've seen Gravity Falls.
All of it?
No.
Yeah, I've not seen any of it.
It's a show with lots and lots of episodes.
Yeah, that's why
I've seen some Gravity Falls.
That's why I asked.
We're gonna do karaoke. What?
Oh man.
Karaoke.
That's about right. That's about right.
Karaoke.
That's how I feel about it.
Karaoke.
I think karaoke is scary, you know? Well, for me, I have a double handicap because they're like, wow, you can sing really well. Yeah, well, also, I don't know lyrics and I don't know any songs. So that's my double handicap. Like I don't have any songs to sing and I don't know any lyrics to any songs. So when I try, it goes badly. But I learned recently I could just make up lyrics to songs I have never heard of in my life. And that would probably be a great karaoke stream. You know, like
you could sing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Until
the
background
that's not how that song goes at all. I'll be like, I don't. How am I supposed
to? That's how my song goes.
Yeah.
And then that's when you assert your dignity, and you're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that's right. I'm better than that song. Just let people know. Yeah.
I'm better than.
I'm more important than that song. Just leave this. It's fine. The song's. If I mess up, who cares? I'm more important.
Wait, who sang Backstreet Boys well last night? Oh, that was you and
yeah.
And
my wife.
Super Diablo.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Was that the thing? I've gotta be May. It's gotta be May. That one? Is that what you put in the chat?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be May, and I'm like, that sounds like a.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, it's weird because
it's gotta be May.
That sounds like a Britney Spears song at the same time because she also pronounces me that way.
Yeah.
It's the 90s.
Yeah, that must be a late 90s, early 2000s, pop.
Yeah.
Pop thing, that's just how they were. And all those people were also on the Disney Channel.
Yeah,
so
it's got to be me as
NSYNC at Disney.
Right. Yep, you're right.
Oh, yep, that's right. NSYNC.
We were literally listening to that.
Which
last night.
NSYNC just made a comeback with the
with the Wolverine Deadpool.
The
movie.
Wolverine, that movie. What was the song? I can't remember the song, but it's now everywhere. It's all over the place now.
I know what it is. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Yes.
Yeah, which
And
is a
there's like
brilliant song.
Fortnite emotes and
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. Like my boys are like, or my oldest, he's like, I gotta have this emote, and it's like a synced emote, so like you can emote along with them, and so you're
Okay.
doing the Deadpool bye 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 dance.
Jeez,
Like,
that's so funny.
yes, yes, it's a Fortnite emote.
What? Oh,
Yep, it's
that's funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But hey, pretty soon we'll all be on Fortnite. We gotta have a Static P Fortnite collab.
Oh, okay. We could do that. I played the game.
Oh, it was the band dance
With your
before
kids.
Deadpool? So like Deadpool did that? Deadpool did the NSYNC dance, huh?
What? Yeah.
Do it make me
NSYNC in
realize how old you are?
yeah, NSYNC
You
NSYNC
think you're
had
old.
yeah. NSYNC
Look at
had a
Ryan.
dance for it. They just copied the whole video and everything, basically.
Yeah,
Which is good. I mean,
I
that's
see.
kind of the point.
See, I used to be 29,
That's right.
but last week I decided I'm 54.
Wow. That's amazing. When are you gonna be
I went
29
way
again?
far in the others. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Amazing. Don't make me realize how old I am. Is that a threat? Are you threatening us? Yeah, no, you were.
Ellie,
I
you're
know you were
so
saying that the other way around.
old, Ellie.
Don't make me realize how old I am. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Well, Anonymous, you're awesome. You're going to
Yes,
make
thank you
it.
so much
It's
for
going to
this
be good.
topic. Yeah.
Keep the love in your heart, and
Yeah.
you're going to be good.
Stay awesome. Stay strong. And yeah, we love you, and we love you, Anonymous. We love you, everybody here. We thank you for joining us. It's half an hour past, but that is a-okay by us. Thank you for sticking around with us, even though it's a bit
Wait,
late.
we have a request. What's your favorite Criminal Idol song?
Oh, who says this? Oh, before you
Ellie.
go, what's your favorite Criminal Idol song?
Mine
Yeah, yeah.
is the one.
The one?
The one that
I was like, I was about to say, there was a song.
building us a dream
Uh-huh.
that's worth great suffering. A reason for suffering.
Yeah, Reason for Suffering, yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh. I don't have a favorite Criminal Idol song, though I do. Every once in a while, I'll hear them again, and I'll be like, "Wow, that was actually pretty good."
Mhm.
I do really like a reason for suffering. That's a good one, but I also really like The Chase. I like Sorry. That's a good one, and even I hated it at the time, but now I kind of like it. The one that's Bad News. Yeah, and yeah, and then what's the one?
News, bad news for bad news.
What's the one with the um mention of the mafia? Stay calm. No, not Stay Calm. Stay Calm's a wild one.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
they're all right here. That's great. Yeah, Your Eyes is one of my
the
favorites.
briefcase.
Yeah, but yeah, Clues to a Poor Man's Briefcase. That's another one. Yeah. So like, I have a lot of them that I like. So, obviously, Life Might Take Us and Detective are the classic originals that are really good. It's hard to say.
I remember when Life Might Take Us was my favorite song of all time for a while.
Mm-hmm. Did Jeff just? I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know what just happened. Okay, anyways. Yeah. Okay, so When the Darkness Comes, that one's fun. Detective, Light Might Take Us, Idle Bombing, No One's in This Alone, A Reason for Suffering, I'm Sorry, Dream On, Clues to a Poor Man's Briefcase, Bad News, Your Eyes, Stay Calm, and Space. Stay Calm is probably my favorite one in terms of style and catchiness. So did I just say Stay Calm? Yeah. I meant to say Your Eyes. Your Eyes. Your Eyes is my favorite one in terms of style and catchiness. But Stay Calm is probably my favorite one in terms of voice acting. In terms of like voice
I feel
inflection.
honored that was your favorite because was the one I helped with the lyrics on.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I helped.
You got them blues.
Cooked with Stay Calm.
Darling, I know you do. Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, you cooked you cooked so well with Stay Calm. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is so much going on. It's so thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Very yummy. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Life Might Take Us your second fave, August? That's great. What's your favorite first fave? I didn't see it. Oh, Dream On. Oh yeah, Dream On's there too. Why didn't I remember reading that?
Ellie, did you say what yours was, Ellie?
Dream On's a really good one. It's hard to say. Yeah, Ellie, what's yours?
Did you say is yours Clues to a Poor Man's Briefcase? Oh, you're gonna keep us updated to why you need this info. Okay.
Oh.
Snowlock, to answer your question, am I still cooking music with our boy Munker Star? Man, I haven't worked on a. I've got so much unfinished stuff from him, and we both got busy. And he was finishing up university, and now he's got a job in a production studio, which is great.
That's great.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And then we started, like we ran,
Thanks, Ellie.
man, we were all over the place. And then we started a new cabinet company, and well, me and Ryan's brother Kyle and Steve started a cabinet making company, and now
He is
everything's
still in
just
the
so
roster
crazy
though.
busy. He is in our roster.
Mm-hmm.
He is in the BSS roster, and I was just thinking about him the other day, actually, and I was looking back on that, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've got like this whole library of stuff that's like half done or 3/4 of the way done, or some of it's like basically practically done and just unreleased, and it's like, yes, you are right. He is such a treasure, and his work
Yeah.
is so amazing. Like Man, it was like the same. It was like the same experience when I first heard his stuff as when I first heard Ryan's stuff.
Yeah,
When I first heard Ryan's
he's really
stuff, it's
smart.
like jaw drop. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like it's he was young, he was a teenager, and I'm like, okay, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh man. But all the elements of good songwriting are here. It just needs polish.
Yeah,
It
well
just needs to be moved forward.
it was
But
100%
all
MIDI.
those,
Like not
it was.
it was like 16-bit MIDI. Like
Mhm.
like Nintendo, like Super Nintendo sounds because that's all I had to write with.
Yep. Yeah, so it was like video game power metal music.
Yeah, that's what it
When I
was like,
first
yeah.
heard when I first heard Ryan's music, and I can't
Yeah.
remember what was the name
Of the songs?
of that CD, that mix CD or that group of MP3s or whatever.
I
Did you have
don't
a name
know.
for yourself? It
I
was
don't
something
know.
really weird. It was some like Norse like god thing or something,
I
like
don't remember
some
it.
kind of weird. All right, anyway, I remember listening to that, and I was just like blown away. If you have the Criminal Idol book, you'll hear that you can read that story in the end of the book, the back of the book. I have like the afterword that I wrote,
Yeah.
and it was like my first experience with Ryan's music. But I had a similar experience with Jono Munkerstar, and listening to his stuff for the first time, and I was like, this he's a kid. But it was a different style. It was like more orchestral and more, I think there was some jazz in there. It was like jazz, orchestral, instrumental stuff, and I was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this kid's
Yeah.
amazing."
He's
And I'm like,
very intelligent.
I want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Aw, thank you guys so much. You
Hey,
guys are so lovely. I'm happy
yeah,
that, the music is there for people. So I'm happy that it helps people.
you got to get that book. Yeah, you do. Hey, if you get that book, I'll send it to you because I'm the
Boom.
shipping department.
Not only will you have you're gonna have like both of our stuff in there. That's on that book because
Yep.
we both got stuff. Like Joe actually worked pretty hard on that book too. I wrote all the
Yeah,
stuff
that was
almost,
like
but
9 months of my life right there.
yeah, Joe worked really hard in yeah making that book look nice.
I did all the what did I do? What's that called? The page layout. I did
Yeah,
all
they
the
did the
page
entire page
layout.
layout stuff, and then also you are also doing the shipping, so your fingerprints are on it.
Uh-huh.
Unless you wear gloves, which I
You
think
want
you
a
do.
box from me? Didn't you get a box? Did you, Riku, don't you have a box? Do I have to send you a box?
Yes, you do. A little bit of Joe DNA. Good stuff.
Oh man, be
You could
careful
clone
what you
him.
do with that.
There could be 2 Joes running around. That's twice as much good.
Oh boy.
Yep.
You know, one day I'm just gonna visit all of you guys, and then you'll have my DNA all over your furniture.
Ooh. Yes, Joe does like the furniture. He likes to touch it.
You'll have my butt DNA on your chairs.
Oh man. Wait, you're gonna take your but that's no, because you'll be wearing your butt DNA goes all over the inside of your pants, man.
I'll be wearing pants. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Unless you just have big
That's
holes.
bad. I'll make sure I wear my Sunday pants because they're holy.
Oh wow, that's good. There it is. That works. Checks out.
You only got an envelope back then because you only had enough money for the signed disc.
Oh.
Wait.
Okay. We cloned Joe. Joe comes in the chat with we cloned Joe. That's funny. See? They are the same person. Been saying it for years. And believes me.
Well, all right. Well, one of these days, maybe we'll have to send you something with a box.
Snowlock Holmes, by the way, told us yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't remember when we streamed him. No, it was 2 days ago now. Anyways, that double cup of Joe got him in the habit of waking up early, and he still, to this day, wakes up at that time.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's because he has to, because he's a teacher.
No, you changed his life. No, Snowlock Holmes.
Oh, Snowlock. I thought it was Joe. Okay.
Yeah, no. Your double cup of Joe show. I think it was Snowlock Holmes who was saying this. Yeah. Trained Snowlock Holmes to wake up early. So now
to get up early.
Yeah, so he's in a good habit of waking up early every day.
I don't even get up that early.
And because that's because you guys see, he changed his life. Good stuff.
No,
I definitely didn't keep this. Well, I know you guys both didn't. Of course.
Nope.
Especially Joseph Bohan, who was waking up so tired. You poor soul. You did a great job though. It was you. Okay, that's all. I wake up early to catch the stream, and I always remember the 3 morning commandments. That's amazing.
Yes. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you gonna do today to move your life forward? Yep.
Changed his life.
3-step routine.
Amazing.
It's a great 3-step routine, man.
It is.
It is.
Oh, you've had to use the 3-step routine in your class before. Ah, yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Where can you listen to the show? It's is there a
I think there are episodes on Spotify. I don't know if there's we need to bring back the 3-step routine. I don't know where we'll have to find it. I wonder. I think they're on this channel.
Yeah, they are. I believe. Yes, they are. They're on this channel.
Maybe they're privated.
I don't think so, but maybe. You can watch the old VODs for sure. If you just have to look back a long way. Like, so the thing I was surprised about was Snowlock Holmes is doing this, and we haven't had the Double Cup of Joe show in years now.
Okay.
And that's why I was so surprised. I was like, "Wow, dude, that's amazing!" And he's still following the pattern, which is great.
We basically did that during COVID, and that was it.
Yeah. So I'd say you guys should do it again.
Really?
Yeah, they say COVID's coming back. No, I'm just kidding. They always say that. It's never left. It's never leaving us. I'm kidding. I don't know if that's even wasn't it before COVID? I don't remember. I thought so too, but I could be wrong. I don't remember very well.
I'd have to look at dates, but I thought it was kind of that time.
That sounds about right, though.
There's a playlist for Double Cup of Joe show on the Don't Worry Wednesday YouTube channel.
There you have it.
Yes, it's there. Go for Watch them. Watch them. Watch the pancakes versus
Ooh,
waffles one.
yeah.
Waffles are the best. Pancakes
Oh
are
man, now you're starting it
not the
again.
best. Yep.
Oh
And I
man.
I have a microphone. Joe, you do not have a microphone. So you can't argue with me except for in chat. But
Uh-huh.
waffles are better. Waffles are the worst.
Joe. Waffles are the worst. Here it is. Oh my goodness. These are fighting words. Yeah, I know, right?
Pancakes for what is with you guys, man? I mean, I had some really, really good. You can chat faster than I talk.
That's hilarious, dude. I love that. Pancake gang.
Wow, you guys are great. You guys
That's
and your
hilarious.
pancakes. You probably all like floppy bacon too, which is gross.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I'm a
Pancakes.
giraffe. That's right.
Yep, that's the great
Crepes.
one.
Uh, oh, crepes are pretty good.
Bacon pancakes. Actually, that'd be pretty good as long as the bacon was crispy to make the pancakes crispy.
You would probably
Yeah,
rather have a
crispy
bacon
bacon.
waffle.
Crispy bacon. I don't know. I really
Pumpkin
like
pancake.
waffles just by themselves. I like the ones you get at the hotels when they have the continental breakfast with the little
Yeah,
waffle
yeah.
machine that makes
Mm-hmm.
the waffles with the really, 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 really big
Yeah.
holes in them, you know?
Yeah.
And you fill each one with syrup.
Yeah.
So it's like a half a gallon of syrup on your plate
Yeah.
with your waffle.
Good stuff. I get it. I get it, Joe. I get it.
It's good. Yep. Homemade pumpkin
I
pancakes.
know. That's what I'm wondering
Wow.
about. That sounds pretty good. I like the idea of
Wow.
that. Especially if they taste anything like pumpkin pie. But even if they don't, it sounds good.
I just like syrup, not waffles.
You know what I want
Oh
to see? I
man.
want to see. I want to see someone go to a ice cream joint and to be like, "Can I have a pancake cone?"
Yeah, that will never happen.
Yeah, it's like, well, here you go. It's a bit. Yeah, you're gonna have to hold on real careful, like.
I had pancakes just the other day, actually, Sunday, because we
Mm.
were recording. We were recording some more of the Rebels for Hope podcast, and
Oh, that's great. I'm
and
glad to hear
Kate's
that.
Kate's husband Tony made us these pancakes that were so good. They were like the pancakes were kind of I don't remember what they were made of. They were some kind of different kind of flour, but they were really good. And he had blackberries that he had heated up in like blackberry like juice, whatever, right? And so just like fresh blackberries on top of pancakes with syrup and ghee butter, so like really good butter. That's good.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Saule, I get what you're saying, but I do have to disagree. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
Here's the thing. You
Pancakes and
said
ice cream work
I'm
really
gonna.
well.
No. He said. Oh yeah, pancakes and ice cream work really well together. By the way, yes, absolutely. You can put ice cream on your pancakes all day. That's great.
Oh yeah.
He said, see, crispy bacon tastes like any other crispy meat. Doesn't need to be bacon if you're just going to overcook it anyways. And my disagreement with that is this: I'm not a bacon lover. And if someone puts crispy or wet bacon in on my plate, it doesn't matter how the bacon is. I can eat maybe like one of them, maybe two at most before I'm like, I mean, it was good, but I don't want any more. No, thank you. Like, I like it, but only a little bit, you know? It's like the first one's good, the second one tastes like kind of gross, and by the time you get to the third piece of strip of bacon, you're like, that's way too much salt, way too much grease, way too much everything. No thanks. But if you overcook a steak or overcook any other kind of meat, I don't feel that way about it. So bacon
Yeah,
is its
it's
own meat.
different.
Bacon is its own
Mhm.
meat, and I say that from someone who doesn't even appreciate bacon the way that some people do.
And Joe, crispy doesn't mean burned. Unless we're talking about marshmallows. Then it probably does.
No, the brown ones are really like if you can cook a marshmallow so it's brown. That's the best way to do it, and that's kind of
No.
crispy.
No. Black is the ace of spades is the best way to have your marshmallows.
But black is white is Ace of Spades. there's plenty of blacks in the card deck, but half of the card deck is black. And just because it's black doesn't mean it's ace of spades.
I would burn marshmallows too. Yeah, I burn marshmallows. They're so good.
Yeah.
Like you light them on fire and you have a torch for a little while and it's like, And then you get to eat the burnt, you blow it out. Don't grab a hold of it while it's on fire. Blow it out. And then you can peel off the exterior layer of the burnt. And you've got this charcoal with marshmallow cream in it. And you eat that, and then you still have marshmallow left on your stick, and you can burn that, and you can do this process like 3 or 4 times.
Okay, Joe.
Depending on the size of your marshmallow.
Joe, I have to agree, that is a lot of fun, and I enjoy that. But you can do the same thing with toasted brown marshmallow, and it's the same thing. It's just, instead of being black, it's brown, and there's less charcoal. It's like more taste, more marshmallow taste. But if you don't like marshmallow taste, you should just burn it. Which is fair because marshmallow taste isn't that great. So I do like it burnt, but I also like it not bad. Yeah, it's not bad, but
if I'm gonna eat marshmallows, I just gotta burn them.
Yeah, I like them both ways. There is no arson. You're right. It's controlled arsony instead of just reckless arsony. That's the difference. Arson. Yeah, Joe does love his arsony. All right.
It's funny. The first time like your brother and Steve ever met my youngest son. He was standing right behind me, right? I was on a video call with Kyle and Steve, and my son was standing right behind me, like he had a chopstick with a marshmallow, and he had a little blazer torch thing, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And he's just sitting there like burning marshmallows and eating them right behind me.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, it was fun. Anyway.
Not all bacon is oversalted or super greasy, although even it's not even too much the salt or grease level. It's just the taste of bacon itself is kind of just, I guess for me, I'm not a big fan of pork. And I'm allergic to pork now, it turns out. So, well, not now. I've always been allergic to pork, but I finally realized it a couple of years ago. So I just don't eat any more of it anymore. Yeah, I could say anymore twice in one sentence. It works. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't all have to be the same. It doesn't all have to be greasy or salty.
That's true, but like a steak, so a thin cut crispy steak tastes about the same as crispy bacon. I can see that happen in a thin cut, but like a thick cut crispy steak, one of my favorite steaks is like burnt in butter on the outside, right? Like charcoaly, buttery outside, right? And like rare on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Not really cold. Good. You're going to make me another sticker? Yes, please. I loved it. I love the one sticker you made me. You can make me another one. It'd be great. But, all right. We should wrap it up. We're like an hour over.
Oh my
goodness.
Guys,
man, look at us go. This is great.
You guys are so awesome. It's not our fault. We're just the ones with the power to turn it off. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know why I put the blame on you guys. You guys did nothing wrong. We love you guys. We hope you had a wonderful time here. And thank you for sticking around with us, even though it's so late. So we appreciate you.
Did I seriously just put 12? I dropped my pen.
You dropped your 12? I was wondering what the 12 was about.
Pen.
I was just
and it landed on my keyboard.
Amazing.
And it's like, that's hilarious.
Amazing. It's a heart. It's half a heart.
It's half a heart.
Yeah. Yeah. With a little bit of blood coming out or something.
It's a bloody heart.
Yeah. Get some good Z's and have a great day. Yes. Thanks, August. You too. Hope you all had a wonderful time and hope you continue to have a wonderful time the rest of your evening and week. And we hope to see you again next Wednesday. Thank you, Myongleos.
Next Wednesday.
Yes, another great stream. You guys are awesome. Thanks for making it a fun stream for us. Thanks for interacting with us. You guys are so lovely. Until next time, we wish you the best of days. Have a great week, guys. See you next Wednesday.
We love you.
Love you all. Bye.